everyone, and welcome to Daunte Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green University. Today, we'll see the Golden Knights of Central Florida, led by Heisman hopeful Daunte Culpepper, taking on the Bowling Green Falcons. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Picoro, and joining me in the booth today is former Bowling Green quarterback and two-time MAC MVP Eric White. And Eric, today, Daunte Culpepper will come a-calling against this Bowling Green defense, and he's going to be calling early and often, isn't he?
Without a doubt, Jeff. Daunte Culpepper, in many people's minds, the best quarterback in the country today. In many people's opinions, one of the best players in the nation, a true Heisman hopeful, looks to come to Northwest Ohio today to establish himself as just that.
And Eric, on the other side of the ball, Gary Blackney has decided to make a change on offense. He'll be going with sophomore Ricky Schneider at quarterback and hopes to possibly ignite a very stagnant offense.
Very stagnant indeed. The previous two games versus Missouri and Penn State, this offense struggled desperately. Ricky Schneider had been coming off the bench. Gary Blackney giving him a chance to start to see what he can do to ignite that fire today.
And obviously you mentioned those first two games at Missouri and at Penn State, two top 25 teams there. But with Central Florida coming into town today, a team that really, if you look up and down the roster outside of the quarterback position, a team they stack up pretty well against, don't they?
Yeah, they stack up much better this week than they did the previous 2 weeks. They need to get some type of confidence today. The previous 2 weeks they had none whatsoever. They enter a very tough MAC conference schedule next week. Confidence is very necessary this week.
Well, the MAC schedule is coming up next week, but this week it is Heisman hopeful Daunte Culpepper and the Golden Knights of Central Florida in town. It should be a very exciting game, so stay with us. We'll have Central Florida and Bowling Green coming up next on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green. Bowling Green has won the toss. They've deferred to the second half. Now let's go down to the sideline where our sideline reporter Charles Arbuckle is standing by. Charles?
Hey, thanks, guys. This is a great game today. But Daunte Culpepper, even though he's at the University of Central Florida, almost didn't make it there. Going into his senior year, had some academic problems, thought he was going to be a Prop 48 kid. All the major Florida schools backed off of him, but one didn't. The University of Central Florida, Paul Lonsberry, the assistant coach, helped him out, helped him devise an academic plan, and when that happened, the legacy you see over here at the University of Central Florida is in full effect. Daunte Culpepper, back up to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Charles. And obviously, as you were just pointing out, Eric, Gary Blackney on the sidelines. First time you've ever seen him in a golf shirt and not a coat and tie.
Very unusual. More relaxed, at ease, Gary Blackney, perhaps this afternoon.
And on the other side there, you see Mike Krzyzek. What a job he's done since taking over this program at Central Florida. Of course, 2-1 as the head coach. First year as a head coach, but for a long time, the offensive coordinator there. And he's the one that pretty much thought up this offense.
Very much so. Obviously, many people may not know, a former pro quarterback, backed up the Steelers in their Super Bowl years. On the sidelines here, in the booth for 13 years here at University of Central Florida, the mastermind behind this very innovative offense.
And there is Gary Blackney. You remember, an assistant coach at Ohio State, many other stops on the way. His team 25-8-1 at home under Gary Blackney. So getting ready to kick off, it is Bowling Green. The kicker is Jason Strasser. And deep is number 2, Paul Miranda. And Miranda can scoot, Eric. This guy is a burner.
4.2940 on grass for professional scouts this past spring. If I was Bowling Green, I might want to kick it away from this young man.
And an onside kick to get things started, and the ball is still live, and it's going to be recovered by Bowling Green.
Mixing things right up right away. Gary Blackney looking to light a fire into this team, catching Central Florida off guard with a little bit of an onside kick, just what the doctor ordered.
Sean Rice jumps right on the ball as it came free, and again, as you said, mix things up a little bit. We're going to see it again, and Strasser comes up and just boots it as it gets away from the front line. Sean Rice, the DB, is able to jump on it.
Good job here by Bowling Green, showing real no onside kick intentions right here. Caught Central Florida really off guard. No hands team in there whatsoever. Now they have to go back on defense and stop this BG offense.
So we'll see what Schneider can do. His first start as quarterback at Bowling Green. The I formation behind him. And he's going to throw right off the bat. He rolls out to the right. He's got a man open. Just a little strong for, that's Adam Leach coming down the backfield.
And that might be some nerves there by Ricky Schneider. Ricky Schneider getting his first start here, as we mentioned in the open. And oftentimes they're doing a nice little safe route. Mike Farragelli given an opportunity to hit a nice short route. Just a little nerves right there.
Is that one of those, Eric, where you try to get something that's safe, easy, just a little short pass, just try to get something out of him, right?
Without a doubt, confidence is the key here today for Ricky Schneider.
There's the offensive line, Furman, and there's Kotzman, the junior at left guard, Doug Dorley, Eric Curl, and Chad McCarthy.
Second down.
Robbie Hollis there. You'll see him at running back, Adam Leach, Tony Holcomb, Kurt Gerling, and Matt Bunsey. Schneider in the shotgun this time. In motion comes Gerling. And a hand up the middle. That is Hollis. Breaks off the right side. He's across into the defensive secondary across the 30-yard line. And they really ran the ball well against Penn State last week, Eric.
They did a very good job, both Robbie Hollis and Godfrey Lewis, the true freshman. Here, Bowling Green right here, mixing it up a little bit, showing a little bit of a different formation, lining up in the shotgun formation, keeping Central Florida off balance with some formations early. Slipping it underneath, and Hollis does a very nice job for a nice gain. Nice hole right there by the BGO line.
Eric, nice blocking up front. Blackney told us yesterday he thought that his offensive line might be able to manhandle this Central Florida line.
Well, they're going to have to do something. I mean, they got to not only keep this ball moving, they have to keep Central Florida offense off the field.
So Hollis again dots the I. Coming in motion is Leon Weathersby. Now the option, and Schneider's going to keep it across the 25 all the way down to the 20. And one of the things we talked about before the game started, Eric, was first down situations. They have to stay out of second and third and long.
Without a doubt, Ricky Schneider did a very good job right here. Running the option again, they're mixing it up, doing some bootlegs, shotgun, now a little bit of an option.
And here is that defensive line, Harley, Malden, and there's Justin Moore, big strong guy up front, and Richardson. The linebackers, Mike Palmer, you'll see him all over the field, along with Devine and Hardman. The defensive secondary, Miranda, as we talked about, the speedster. Duster, one of the leading tacklers on this team. Single back formation this time, wideouts both ways for Ricky Schneider. The opening drive of the game, 13:35 left. And Schneider this time drops it. Looks like a broken play, but he's still going to get something out of it, Eric. And as a quarterback, you hate that when you turn the wrong way, don't you?
Without a doubt, Jeff. You don't want to look back and see no one in your backfield when you're supposed to hand it off. But Ricky Schneider did a good job there making something out of nothing.
Schneider has some decent size. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. 5 rushes this year, minus 11 yards.
Not real good. Some of that could be tended to some sacks there. Mike Farraghelli, talking with him this week, the one thing they want to do, they're very confident with Ricky Schneider. They just want to give him a chance to start, because oftentimes starting and coming off the bench are two different things. And giving Ricky Schneider the chance to start today, let's see what he can do to get things going.
There you see the measurement taking place, and they're going to get the first down. So Schneider gets just enough off the broken play. Just tucks it under instead of taking it in, is able to get the 3 yards for the first down. So this opening drive, exactly what Gary Blackney needed from this offense.
He needed this. They're moving the sticks, and they're showing a lot of variety as far as formations on offense. Already they've come out in shotgun. They've done a little bit of a bootleg. There they had double tights with one back in the backfield, running a little bit of an option. They're doing everything, and the reason why they're doing it, they're going to see how Central Florida reacts, and then they're going to react accordingly to that.
So first down and 10 for the Falcons, and they're on the 17-yard line. And again, you see them in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers in. That's Gerling again coming in motion. He's going to throw it out of the backfield, and it's caught by Godfrey Lewis inside the 10 all the way down to the 9-yard line. Another one of those safe passes you talked about, Eric.
Very good job what they did right here. They brought those receivers down at linebacker level, slipped Godfrey Lewis out to the left flat. A little bit of a swing screen right here. Very safe pass, again, keeping Ricky Schneider confident, moving the sticks. Just a real quick ball, not holding the ball too long, and getting in the hands of this true freshman here, which Gary Blackney says that he hasn't seen speed like this around here in a long time out of Godfrey Lewis, true freshman out of Toronto, Ontario.
You talked about that youth. He is, as you said, a true freshman at 5'9", 170. The I formation, and that is Godfrey Lewis that dots the I in front of Adam Alige. Schneider turns in the give to Lewis, and he busts up the middle. Tough linebacking play, and you're going to be hearing the name of Mike Palmer and Dion Porter quite a bit.
Without a doubt, Mike Palmer, the inspirational leader of this defense, lining up there in the middle. Everything kind of goes through him defensively, and he's one of their leaders for sure.
There you saw number 10, that's Damian Demps. He leads this Central Florida team in tackles, 26 tackles already. He's a tough one, 5'11", 180 pounds, just a sophomore. Has been some changes in that secondary. They wanted to get their best 11 on there, so Duster now starting at strong safety, and Miranda gets to start at cornerback. So 3rd down and 1, another big play for Bowling Green on this opening drive of the game. Schneider with the I formation, the turn, and the give off the left side. Hit in the backfield is Robbie Hollis, and he's going to be, again, very close to the first down.
Looks like he might be a tad short right there, but Mike Farraghelli, Gary Blackney, this offense sticking strictly to their game plan. They're trying to get a lot of movement, trying to get a big push up front, trying to run the football, because they know that as this game plays out, if they can wear that Central Florida interior defensive line down, that's where the success is going to be made.
Eric, nice hard running that time by Hollis. He was hitting the backfield. A knifey defender came in there and and was able to get a piece of him, but he just kept his legs moving, got enough for the first down.
Senior's a nice, tough runner, getting his opportunity, trying to make the best of it here in his senior season.
And here's where Bowling Green has not pushed it into the end zone yet, and here's their first opportunity. First and goal now from the 6-yard line for Ricky Schneider. The sophomore quarterback has been sterling so far, and he gets to the line and doesn't like what he sees, and he calls timeout.
Man, just a little bit of indecision by Ricky Schneider right there. Just not sure what he's seeing right there. Maybe not getting all the game reps he's used to getting and just making the timeout so they come away with something here on this drive.
11 minutes left here in the first quarter. No score between Bowling Green and Central Florida. We'll be back. You're watching college football on Fox Sports Net. Opening drive of the game here, and Bowling Green is threatening. Let's go down to the sidelines and Charles Arbuckle. Charles?
According to the Bowling Green offensive coaches, they felt like they could run against Central Florida, and you already see a change. 91, Justin Moore is out of the game, and now number 92, Tony Rosser is in the game at a big 330 pounds. Back up to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Charles. And again, those changes being made to that defense is Central Florida trying to figure out just what this Bowling Green team is going to do. The I formation behind Schneider. First down and goal from the 6-yard line. And it's the option to the left, and he's going to keep it and nowhere to go. Nice play on the outside by Central Florida.
Central Florida did a great job right there. Paul Miranda coming up, making the stop right there. Again, doing something that Bowling Green's not real proficient at, running the option. I don't think this is a very mainstay in their offense. You can see Ricky Schneider running the option off to his left right here. He does get upfield very well, but this is something this offense is not used to doing. I think it's more of a formation thing right here, trying to get Central Florida different looks in the first drive.
So a loss of a yard, so now it's second down and goal from the 7-yard line. Might try to see Schneider hit on the corner here and throw something. I formation, and it's just the turn and give off with tackle, and that's a nice play that time, and busting into the end zone, and they're going to say he's a little short. That's Godfrey Lewis, the freshman. Boy, he's quick between the tackles, isn't he, Eric?
Right there, just a few inches of daylight, but he squirted through very quickly. Appeared like he might have had a touchdown, but Central Florida did a good job of closing that gap. Here's a look at it from the end zone right here. Ricky Schneider just handing it off, and like you said, very quick, very slippery. Again, not only fast, but he's also very quick, which is a great combination at the running back position.
And again, we talked about that offensive line. Huge holes up front that time for them to run. Full house backfield this time, and Lewis will be in the I formation. Schneider, the long count, gives off to Lewis, and he busts into the end zone for the Bowling Green touchdown. The first score of the year on the ground for Bowling Green.
And long overdue if you're Gary Blackney, getting your first touchdown of the year, but you'll take it any way you get it here. Sticking true to their script, running the football, showing different formations, and most importantly for the Falcons, putting the ball in the end zone.
I tell you what, that is exactly what they needed to take a little starch out of the Central Florida team.
Force this Central Florida offense to come out here and be more of a pressure mode as opposed to getting relaxed early on.
Jason Strasser in to attempt the extra point. His holder is Bob Nemeth, who had been the starting quarterback, is now the backup, and the long snapper Ryan Diepenbrock. Snap is good, and the kick is up, and it's good. A shocker to some, baby. 7-0 is the score. Bowling Green over Central Florida. 9 minutes and 42 seconds left. We'll be back. You're watching college football on Fox Sports Net. Today's Mid-America Conference football game on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Budget Car and Truck Rental. Get out of the ordinary. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You either have it or you don't. Life is a sport. Drink it up. 7-0 is the score. 9:42 left. Bowling Green on that opening drive right down the field for the touchdown. Here's another look for it, Eric.
Look right in the eyes of the defender right there. And again, Godfrey Lewis doing a nice job finding pay dirt right there, and that's just what the Falcons needed right there. Every drive, they're trying to get some type of points. A touchdown, they'll take it every time.
That's Tony Hardman, number 15 there. You're looking right in his eyes. He's a true freshman at 6 feet, 235 pounds. We'll call his name quite a bit. He'll be playing a little bit for Deion Porter. Last week, Porter, one of the mainstays on this defense, was bent over backwards, and he had some strained muscles in his back. It's sore, and it's one of those, it's not really an injury that'll keep him out, but it's how much can you go? There's a big difference between pain and injury, and that's a painful one.
That's for sure. And
he's a load, 6'2", 195. He's really a strong safety, but they move him up to that linebacker position, and on the next level, they think he'll go and will play strong safety in the NFL, and they think he's a good one. 6'2", 195, 18 tackles, 2 for loss on the year. He's number 22 on that Central Florida defense. So kicking off again, it's Jason Strasser, and we'll see what he does this time, if he goes deep or not. Watch Miranda with all that speed, and he's not going to get a chance on this one because Strasser basically boots it into the stands. What a leg there.
Using that Bowling Green win, that trademark Bowling Green win to his advantage right there. Strasser really nails it, the young man out of Toledo, Ohio.
You think they knew something when they deferred and took this into the field?
I think so. I think they're used to practicing here, Jeff.
Well, I tell you what, Eric, that is such a weapon when you're able to back a team up and start at the 20-yard line.
And it's no coincidence here. They have Daunte going right into the wind initially to really test him and make him off guard a little bit and get used to the climate right here.
So here they come, right off the sideline and right to the line of scrimmage. And there you see number 8, Daunte Culpepper. You hear a lot about him. He is the captain of this team. Wideouts both ways. The ace formation, double tights and single back. And Culpepper to throw, and basically throws that into the ground. That was for Sia Burley, and you'll see Burley, we'll call his name quite a bit, 21 catches on the year already. 5'11", 175, he's a senior, but here's the offensive line. Haynes, Gillis, Laurenti, Jenkins, and Green. They average 6'5", 309 pounds. Here's the backs and receivers, Grant, Goldberg, Clark, Nonsant, and Sia Burley. We already talked about him, the senior, and they'll go to him quite often today. 21 catches on the year. Ace formation once again, single back. Culpepper, the long count at the line. He's going to drop back to throw, play action, looking over the middle, throws out, and that's a corner pattern, perfectly run by Burley, and first down. So just like that, one of the toughest patterns in football to cover, and he's wide open.
The corner route is one of the toughest patterns to cover, particularly if you have a receiver like Burley running it, really freezing the safety with that post move, breaking back out to the corner of the sideline. You can see he does a good job of staying up inside, very patient. This takes good protection from that Central Florida offensive line for a receiver to be able to run a route like that. And Burley delivers with a very nice catch.
9:28 left in the first quarter here, and now Central Florida on the move. Culpepper audibly at the line of scrimmage. And again, the 3-step drop, fires it off, and that one's complete again to Burley, this time on the other side. And Burley's able to get 9 yards before he's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And that's Junior Williams up there on the stop. And let's take a look at that defense. Thomas, Johnson, Willie Watson, the big senior inside. 1 tackle for loss on the year, and DJ Durkin. The linebacking crew, Kerry Campbell, Joe O'Neill in the middle. Well, he's a load, 6'2", 225. He's a redshirt freshman, 22 tackles and a sack already on the year. And the defensive backfield, there's been a little change. Sergio Lund, Chad Long, Morty Bryce, and Junior Williams. And there you see Chad Long.
What Central Florida likes to do right here, they call their plays at the line of scrimmage. The majority of their plays, I should say. And that's not a hurry-up mode. We don't want to confuse that. Sometimes people think that's a hurry-up mode. You're panicking. They're just taking their time. And what this doesn't allow Bowling Green to do is get the proper substitutions in. And Central Florida can keep the mismatches they have and just attack them that way, nice and steady, going down the field and getting the rest of the line of scrimmage.
Same type of offense that the Buffalo Bills under Jim Kelly.
Basically the red gun offense that Jim Kelly perfected, just nice and efficient, keep the ball moving, to not allow the defense to substitute routinely.
Once again, of course, Mike Kruchek, the head coach over at Central Florida, learned a lot of his offense from a guy by the name of Lindy Infante.
Very good guy to learn the offense from.
Took a lot of what he did and molded his own offense out of it. So here we go. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line from Central Florida as Culpepper barks out the signals. And he drops a 3-step drop again to throw. Pressure up front. Culpepper, nice footwork there, Eric, because he felt the pressure and just slides out of the pocket, keeps his feet underneath him. But really on that one, only had 2 receivers out on the pass pattern.
That's right here. The Bowling Green defense did a good job. They came up and showed a cover 2 look, rolling the corners up. Daunte had to hold the ball there a little bit. Maybe he got a different look than he was used to, but yet still very strong enough. Took a shot at the legs, bounced right off, was able to throw the ball away and avoid the sack.
Second down.
Kerry Latoski in there. Was able to get a hit on him, but at 6'3" and 6'4", 240 pounds, going to take more than just a little pop. So now a 4-receiver look for Central Florida as they're going to open things up here. And again, it's the wide receiver screen to Burley again. This time he's across the midfield into Bowling Green territory, and that is so tough to defend. He's got 2 blockers in front of him, and Burley pulls it in and basically just takes off.
It's that little slip screen right there. The receiver in the middle there just backs up, gets the other 2 receivers out in front, get a little bit of a block. And going to Burley early and often this game. Last week versus Purdue, I believe he had 9 catches for 147 yards, including a touchdown. So Burley has shown he can step it up at the big level.
Again, Charles Lee, Mark Nonsant, Sia Burley, and Kenny Clark all in the game. So 4-receiver look and a single back in the backfield for Daunte Culpepper. 1st and 10 again, this time from the 43 of Bowling Green. Turn, and there's the handoff to Mike Grant. And Grant into the secondary quickly as well. 22 carries, 117 yards. He averages 5.3 per carry.
And a very good job. Generally, this is a passing offense. They use the back sparingly here as far as running the football, but they are smart enough to know that they want to keep that Bowling Green offense off balance. They cannot allow them just to stack the line of scrimmage and just rush them at will. They have to honor that run sometime here today.
Culpepper again, the 4 receiver look, and he turns and gives off again to Grant, and he's running inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. So he'll pick up about 6 yards there and another first down. Well, I'll tell you what, we might have to get 3 digits on the scoreboard if this keeps up.
At this rate, very fast pace. There again going to Mike Grant, off tackle. Mike Grant, the senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, doing a very nice job. The thing they like about him, he gets north and south really well. Always gets positive yardage.
And it's going to be a legal procedure penalty there. It looked like might have been Gillis or Haynes over on that left side, but as you saw in that replay, Eric, that offensive line is huge, and there was no Bowling Green defender the first 3 or 4 steps for Grant.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5 yards.
As you saw there, there's your referee, Nick Devine. David Foley's your umpire. We'll be calling his name a lot. You're holding penalties. He's the man in the middle.
And you mentioned this big offensive line. They average 6'5", 309 across the board. That's just average. So they not only have skill players, they have big men as well.
So Culpepper out of the shotgun for the first time today. And again, it's that wide receiver screen, and this time no place to go on the inside, so Clark goes back outside, and he's wrapped up. Junior Williams comes up and puts the hit on him. Nice play that time by Williams, the 5'9", 185-pound senior. He's a good cover guy out there. 12 tackles on the year, Eric.
Great job by Williams, but the person who really broke this play up was DJ Durkin. Right there, number 44. He saw Culpepper drop back, smelled something a little fishy, was coming down the line. He retreated, got back into the play, and made the receiver reroute there.
And he says nothing. And again, that's that little wide receiver screen that's become so popular with many of these throwing teams. Kentucky, BYU, Central Florida, they all use that.
It's like an extended run we were talking about early in the telecast. A lot of teams do that. They like just like a little long handoff, very high percentage play.
And now Daunte Culpepper comes out and doesn't like what he sees out of the defense, so he's going to call timeout. 7:13 left in the first quarter. It is Bowling Green 7, Central Florida nothing. You're watching MAC football on Fox Sports Net. Receiver screen to Kenny Clark sets up a 2nd down and 22 situation for Culpepper in Central Florida. And again, he'll be out of the shotgun. Trips to the far side of the field, and now coming in motion, that is Kenny Clark. Good protection again for Culpepper, fires over the middle, and it's complete. That is Charles Lee, number 7. He'd been a starter the first couple of games, and now he is the 3rd receiver. Lee, 15 catches on the air, and he's very good going over the middle, isn't he?
Very nice job. He's not afraid to go over the middle. What they do here, they show that trips combination, that 3-receiver set, do a little bit of a weave, a little bit of a crisscross, then run a basic hook right there with Lee, wide open in the middle of the field, crosses the defense up, and a nice catch by Lee.
Well, you know, it's amazing. Up here in the booth right next to us is the Central Florida coaching staff. Very calm and collective. You know, most of the times they're up here, they're screaming and hollering. Not these guys.
Well, when you have a signal caller like Daunte Culpepper behind center, you tend to feel a little bit comfortable.
And that time, the trips formation, and before the snap, Bowling Green shifts their defense, and one of the offensive linemen moves again, and that's going to be another illegal procedure penalty, and that's going to back him up again.
Offense, 5 yards, 3rd down yet.
So now 3rd down and 10. So tough in that situation. You know, you make up 12 yards on that first down play, so now you get into a position where you can make a play, and now you're backed up now 3rd and 15. But really, from the 34-yard line, Eric, you think maybe 2 plays here to get the 15 yards?
You think so? Penalties are drive killers, without a doubt, even if you do have a signal caller like Daunte Culpepper.
11 penalties last game for Central Florida against Purdue. And movement again on the offensive front. The new rule in college football, if you jump into the neutral zone, it used to be a 5-yard defensive offsides. Now you have to make contact with the offensive player.
A little bit of a modification. You mentioned a moment ago how the Central Florida staff looked very calm. A few more penalties like that, I think you'll see them jumping out of the booth.
And now what they're going to call,
3rd down.
what they called here is when the Bowling Green player jumped into the neutral zone, the offensive lineman can flinch. And that's what he did, and that's why the penalty is on Central Bowling Green instead of Central Florida. It's a protection flinch is what they call it.
It's all about protection.
Exactly. So now it's 3rd and 10 again for Culpepper in the shotgun. Good protection again, looking over the field, and again, the middle wide open, and that's Lee again, and he's still on his feet down to near the 10-yard line. They run that, he used to call a dig pattern so well, Eric.
The dig route up at about 15 yards, breaking into the middle. Any type of a crossing route at about 15 or plus yards depth, generally they call it a dig route. But Charles Lee is one of the better players at running this play. Not afraid to go across the middle. That's the thing with this play. You have to have confidence going in there, knowing you may take a shot. But Charles Lee doing a good job, actually showing some very good footwork after the catch to protect himself, and a nice gain for Central Florida.
Just got behind those linebackers and in front of the defensive backs. That's that little soft area, and was able to haul it in for the first down. So now, 1st and 10 from the 11. They can get a first down about 2 feet from the goal line, and they're going to go with the reverse. And that's number 18, Martin Onset, and he's inside the 10. He's pushed out of bounds about the 7-yard line. Read well by Bowling Green, and that's Junior Williams. A couple of big plays already in this game.
Junior Williams, one of the leading tacklers perennially in his career here on this team. And Martin Onset, we're a little bit of a reverse. Getting the big men out front pulling for him.
Boy, I tell you what, you got to like running behind Cornell Green, 6'6", 310.
Big man.
Cornell Green, great cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, number 31 for a long time.
Well, happy birthday out to Cornell Green for Central Florida. Celebrated his 24th birthday yesterday.
So the ace formation again for Central Florida. 2 tights, 2 wide receivers. Culpepper rolls, looking into the end zone. He fires off. It's caught by Lee, but I think he might be out of the end zone. It's Sia Burley. His feet were in, but the ball was out, so they're going to spot it inside the 1. So that's going to be first down. And again, that's Sia Burley, number 1, not number 7. It's number 1, Burley, that hauls it in.
You got Culpepper on a little bit of a half roll, pulling up, letting Burley work one-on-one out there. It looked like the ball did not cross the plane.
Watch again there, his feet are in, but the ball's outside of the pylon, and so
looked very close.
Inside the 1.
2 officials down there on the spot. Got the call right. But still, Burley been the main focus offensively so far this drive.
A 12-play, 79-yard drive. So far, it's eaten up 4 minutes.
And that's the thing. People often get caught up. Daunte Culpepper, big numbers. This team knows how to drive the football. They're not just all about big plays. It can be very methodical at times.
So again, the pro set behind him, and Culpepper turns. He's going to throw into the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown. That's Blake Thames, huge tight end. He's a 6'2", 215-pound true freshman. And of course, he in the game because tight end Joey Hubbard, who's one of their mainstays, out for the season. He fractured his ankle last week. Hubbard was 6'3", 245-pound senior, so Goldberg and Thames will hear them a lot. And that is, as you see on the screen, Daunte Culpepper's 18th consecutive game. So Chad Downey in for the extra point and not Wyszewski. And it's good. So 7-7, 5 minutes and 33 seconds into the first quarter. Bowling Green onside kick right down the field for their touchdown, and Central Florida answers and comes right back with theirs.
And a good opportunity here for Blake Thames. You said filling in for the injured Joey Hubbard from last week, the game at Purdue. Froze the defense with the play fake. Thames squeaked in the back of the end zone, hauled that one in.
Last night, of course, we talked to Mike Kruchik, the coach. He said, hey, we're going to throw 35 times today at least. Well, on the opening drive, Culpepper, 10 passes and 3 rushes.
Coach Kruchik, like you mentioned, is not afraid to throw the football. But you'll notice throughout this drive, a lot of high percentage passes.
Right.
They don't do anything too crazy. I think much like Bowling Green used that last formation on offense to set their defense up, Central Florida's doing the same thing. Kind of seeing how Bowling Green's going to play them. And as this game goes on, maybe they'll attack them for some more big plays down the field.
Well, you know, in the opening, we talked about how these two teams are fairly equal outside of Daunte Culpepper. If you look at both teams personnel-wise, both of these teams are pretty equal up and down the line. That's what we've seen so far. There you see the scoring drive, 13 plays, 80 yards, took 4:09 off the clock. We're at 5:33 left in the first quarter, all tied up at 7 apiece. And there is the boot by Downey, and it's taken at the 5, across the 20, and still on his feet. That's Leon Weathersby, all that speed, and goes right up the middle to about the 26-yard line, making the 28, so that's where Bowling Green starts their second drive.
Well, Jeff, this pace actually favors Bowling Green. At least initially, if this pace pans out throughout the whole game, this falls right into Bowling Green's hands. If this game gets to be a run-and-shoot type shootout, this could hurt Bowling Green a little bit. So we're curious to see how Bowling Green responds on this drive after Central Florida just scored.
So Bowling Green right off the sideline to the line of scrimmage. And we're going to have a twins formation with the eye behind Ricky Schneider, who looked good in his opening drive. Coming in motion, that's Kurt Gerling, sugar motion. And a draw in the backfield, and a little bit of running room in there for Robbie Hollis. And again, that first down is so important for Bowling Green. It keeps them out of those second and third and long situations.
You don't want a quarterback, particularly a quarterback's never started before, to be too many long situations right here. A little bit of a draw fake. See a little bit of hop by Ricky Schneider. That freezes the linebackers. They have to take a read step, and that's what they're hoping to get those big linemen up on there and slip Hollis there through the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, as you saw number 6, that's Diabre Devine. He slid out just a little bit on the play fake, and that opened the hole for Hollis to run through. So the I formation again. 2 tights and 1 wide receiver for Schneider. A long count at the line of scrimmage, and it's the option again. And there's the pitch. And being able to get to the corner again, that's Hollis. And again, positive yardage, and it looks like enough for the first down. But Schneider, nice read that time.
Nice read by Schneider, considering he's going against one of the fastest players on this field today, Paul Miranda. Coming right down the line, looking him in the eyes. Did a very good job here. If you're going to run the option, you have to attack that man. Oftentimes, quarterbacks who are not used to running the option, they pitch it too early. They're not used to attacking it and actually optioning that defender. Ricky Schneider did a good job on that play, allowing Robbie Hollis to get positive yardage.
And boy, Fred Harley came in and laid a lick in there. 6'3", 245-pounder. He's just a sophomore. So the ace formation now for Bowling Green. Single back, 2 wide receivers and 2 tights behind. Schneider coming in motion. Gurley again. Schneider rolls out, fires off. It's tipped, and oh, what a nice grab that time. That is Kevin Stanky that pulled it in. Yep, they're going to say incomplete, but boy, he put his arm up there, and I thought he was going to pull it down.
I believe he hauled that one in. That may have been deflected at the line of scrimmage. Schneider taking a look upfield, coming to Stanky a little bit late in the play.
Boy, as a receiver, Eric, you hate that when you see the ball tipped, because then you're wide open.
You're wide open and you're exposed for anything right here, but he does a good job of staying with the play. Does look like it's tipped. Almost hauls that one in, wrestled with it the whole way, but still a very good job.
And another safe pass, as you said,
very
by Bowling
safe,
Green.
very safe.
So second down and 10 now. 4:10 left in the first quarter. Again, the give is right up the middle, and this time it's Godfrey Lewis, the freshman tailback. He takes it right up the middle for a gain of about 2. But again, that middle of the defensive line for Central Florida was able to come up and make the stop.
Don't be surprised today, Jeff, if Bowling Green keeps a lot of their formations very tight. The Central Florida defense is very fast. They have a lot of great athletes, guys who all run 4-4s, 4-5s. Sometimes to neutralize that, you'll bunch the formations tight. Keep these guys in tight. Let bodies get on bodies rather than have fast guys out in open space and let them run and make plays.
You see big number 98, Raheem Pontiflet. And Palmer, we'll call his name quite a bit. He's the captain on that defense. Shotgun formation for Schneider. A lot of time, fires it off, and well, that time he put some pepper on it, and it was a little too much for Hollis out of the backfield.
Not only was a little bit too much pepper for Hollis, but he was staring right down the barrel of Mike Palmer. Mike Palmer ready to lay a hit right there. Actually a well-designed play right there. Run the receivers off, slip the back out, a little bit of a swing. But Mike Palmer was not fooled, got himself in good position, and I think was ready for the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, he's a load coming out there. He looks big in those pads, too. Much bigger than the 245 pounds they list him.
He plays very big, very inspirational leader of this team.
Andy Pollock now into punt, and you're going to see a boomer here. All he does is lead the nation. 49.2 yards a kick, and it's a fake. It's to the up back, and it's going to be close. That's Brett Morton. He is a fullback, and it's going to be very, very close. He needed to get to the 50, and they place it right on the 50. And it was just a shoestring that got him, and they're going to get the first down.
Let's credit Gary Blackney and his staff. They are anything but conservative. We've already seen an onside kick. We've already seen a fake punt. And you're looking right down at Andy Pollock. They expect him to punt, as Jeff said, the leading punter in the nation.
You know, Eric, that kind of catches a team off guard. When you got a guy like that, you know he's going to kick a boomer out there. And then they do the fake. So they're moving again. 1st and 10, ball at midfield. And there's the pitch, and it's out to Lewis. If he can get the corner, he's got some running room. To the 45, to the 40. All the way down to the Central Florida 36-yard line. And that's Godfrey Lewis.
Godfrey Lewis, again, the true freshman out of Toronto, Ontario. It's often funny with true freshmen, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. If they're going to come out there and play with a lot of nerves, or sometimes they just don't know any better. They don't know they're freshmen. They don't know they're supposed to have a learning curve. And guys with that kind of speed, that kind of skill, such as Godfrey Lewis has, able to make big plays.
As you see there, both teams with 6 first downs already in this first quarter. There's still 2 minutes and 49 seconds left, and Bowling Green's been moving the sticks. Twins formation to the far side of the field. And coming in motion, that's Leon Withersby. They're going to give right up the middle. Nowhere for Lewis to run that time. Actually, it's Hollis, number 20. And again, Hollis and Lewis are alternating at the tailback spot.
This is definitely a running back by committee offense. They're trying to find that true runner, but they'll take the best of what they got right now. Both averaging a little bit over 4 yards a carry, so they're very confident in both. And again, Bowling Green's showing another look, showing a little bit of a twins package out to the field, trying to spread them out, then running the ball weak. Gary Blackney's trying to mix it up as much as he can today to have some success.
We mentioned Leon Withersby. He was drafted by the Kansas City Royals, so a good all-around athlete, as you said earlier. Gerling and Bunsey in at the wide receiver spots, and Schneider's going to throw. He's looking downfield. He's got some time. He's got his tight end over the middle. Inside the 20 to 15, all the way down to the 13-yard line. That's the captain of this offense, Tony Holcomb.
Tony Holcomb, like you mentioned, the captain, senior tight end, does a very nice job. Does not get a lot of balls thrown his way, but when he does, he seems to be in the right place at the right time. You can see here Ricky Schneider showing a little play action to his left, pulling back up and throwing back across the field, getting those linebackers and DBs flowing out of there. Holcomb slipping behind the defenders, and Doster right on his trail. But a nice job by the BG offense, again, mixing it up well.
Eric, when you've got a team that's as good at pursuit as they are and as quick as them, try to do a lot of that misdirection, don't you?
Yeah, misdirection, bunch them up, just get them. Sometimes if you're too fast, you can overrun a lot of plays. I think that was the case on that particular play.
Well, you see Gerling coming in motion again, and there's the give off, and that's Hollis, and he's got some running room. Inside the 15, down to the 10, 9-yard line, but again, a nice play that time. That's Jeff Fye, number 4, was able to get off the receiver's block and just trip him up, because if he doesn't make the tackle, Hollis rolls into the end zone.
Exactly. Jeff does a very nice job of slipping that wide receiver, trying to block him, and taking a touchdown away from Robbie Hollis.
So now, again, a positive yardage on that first down. It is now 2nd down and 7. The snap will be inside of 1 minute left in this first quarter. And the I formation, this time it's Godfrey Lewis behind Schneider. Twins to the top of the screen. And he's going to throw. Schneider's got the time. He fires off. It's complete. And a touchdown. That's Adam Leach coming out of the backfield. Wide open.
Excellent job here, Jeff, by the Bowling Green offense. Again, a little bit of a play action to freeze the defenders. And then basically what they do, they high-low Damian Demps right here. You see Ricky Schneider, nice little play action. Nice protection, steps up in the pocket. They put a man on an island right there. Damian Demps went in the end zone with Tony Holcomb, and Adam Lige able to slip out in the flat for the touchdown.
And Strasser in again. There you see, wide open there. He beats the linebacker, and there's nobody on the outside. Strasser in for the extra point. And a surprise to some as it's up, and it's good. 14-7. Bowling Green leads Central Florida.
You could say a little bit of surprise.
That's right. The offensive line has been playing very well. Let's go down to Charles Arbuckle and talk about that offensive front. Charles?
Well, the offensive front is really coming off the ball. You can see that down on the field. The Central Florida guys are really moving around slow on the defensive front. They're not really hustling to the ball. As you saw in that touchdown play, there was no one around the receiver. Usually they have a lot of guys around because they're very quick, but I think they're getting pushed around by Bowling Green. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Charles. Of course, Charles, a former tight end, UCLA, and played with the Colts.
Charles waged many a war down there in the trenches.
Yes, he did. You played with him for a while
briefly
in
over at Indianapolis. Charles, a great tight end, great UCLA standout.
Well, I'll tell you what, this could be, to some people who are just tuning in, maybe kind of a shocker, but I tell you what, the Central Florida team, 3rd year as they moved up to Division I. And of course, everybody's heard of Daunte Culpepper. Bowling Green kind of sneaks in through the side door, so to speak. It's their home opener of the season. Gary Blackney has had some great success here at home. He's 25-8-1 since he's taken over as the head coach here, and it's a tough place to come in and play.
It's a very tough place. Under Gary Blackney's coaching career here, they have been 25-8-1. A lot of that success there in the early 90s. In the recent years, they've struggled a little bit, but yet I'm sure foes tell you when they come into this stadium, they expect a very tough ball game.
And there again, you see number 2. Paul Miranda. And if he has an opening, he could go a long way. 4.29.40 on Pro Day last spring. This guy is a burner.
He's a flyer.
And again, Strasser's kick is a monster. Well into the end zone and out of the end zone. Wow.
Again, using the wind to their advantage. Strasser gets behind that. Keep it away from Miranda.
And again, you talked about playing with the wind here, and it's so important. It's so flat as we look out over basically all of Bowling Green here. We can see it
looks like all the way to
Detroit,
yeah.
Toledo.
That's the thing. It can often be a little disarming when you come in here. You're not used to the conditions. Even though it's a very beautiful sunny day, about 80 degrees, the wind is still very potent. You can often get 15, 20-mile-hour gusts the entire game. You can really throw a passing offense like Central Florida off.
There you see 23-mile-per-hour wind here. And Culpepper comes out, the spread offense. 4 wide receivers, and there's the quick pass outside, and it's caught in some running room. And then again, Sia Burley. And a flag comes in late.
Sia Burley does a good job again. Just a nice, quick, high percentage pass. Let these receivers get out in open space and do what they do best, just create.
Boy, Burley is so quick. Got great footwork as he works the sideline.
Have a dead ball foul, personal foul, defense, laid head out of bounds, 15, first down.
And as you said earlier, penalties will kill you. It almost stopped that UCF drive last time. And watch right here. He's down, and
there's Durkin.
Well, I tell you, that's awful tough.
It's tough to put on those brakes.
Right.
When you're taught to hit anything that moves, and you're running to the sideline. That's a little iffy right there. I'm not sure, but it is on the Central Florida sideline. I'm sure you have some serious lobbying going on over there, as they should.
That's right, 4 receiver set once again for Daunte Culpepper in Central Florida. 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Bowling Green with a 14-7 lead, and Culpepper a 5-step drop. Steps up nicely, he's got some running room, and he's going to be taken down for no gain. But I'll tell you what, when Culpepper tucks it, he can run. He's run 32 times this year, 150 yards. He averages 4.7. He scored 5 times on the ground. And Coach was telling us, Krushik, that he has some rules for Culpepper when he runs the ball.
Daunte just can do about everything. Again, he doesn't lead the nation in offense, total offense, for nothing. He can run the ball effectively. When he does make a decision to run, he does tuck it. He just gets upfield and makes positive yardage. Unlike a lot of quarterbacks, they tuck it and they're a little bit indecisive.
Right.
Daunte, when he runs, he knows he's running.
Coach Krushik told us if it's a one-on-one situation, he'll let him lower his shoulder. But he said if there's a host of tacklers, he'll make him get down. And that's basically the rule that he uses.
Good philosophy.
We've come to the end of the first quarter, and Bowling Green leads Central Florida 14-7. You're watching MAC football on Fox Sports Net.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's
You're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. Live from Doynt-Perry Stadium in Bowling Green. Bowling Green leads Central Florida at the half, 24-14. Today's Mid-America Conference football game is being brought to you by the Motor City Bowl, December 23rd at the Pontiac Silverdome, and by the College Football Hall of Fame, where everybody plays. Once again, the score at the half, 24-14. Bowling Green leads Central Florida. Let's go down to the sidelines and Charles Arbuckle. Charles?
Jeff, thanks a lot. As you can see in the first half, Daunte Culpepper has been held. But the one reason why is the offense has been so good. Ricky Schneider has played a great game, and you see that sometimes when you play against a great player and you hear about them all week, that always gives you incentive, and Ricky Schneider is showing that. Bowling Green has done a great job, and here's a feature from the MAC Conference. As you can see, Bowling Green up 24, Central Florida 14. What an excellent ball game by Bowling Green. An excellent game plan coming out to stop Daunte Culpepper, and what a fabulous job by the Bowling Green Falcons. Once again, we're going to bring you MAC scores as well as scores from around the country today. And the one thing is, you see an excellent game plan today. Kent State down by 15 to Central Florida. Marshall 23, Eastern Michigan 15 in the second quarter. Toledo and Miami at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Ohio and Western Michigan at 6:30, and Ball State at Akron at 7 o'clock. And top 25 scores, we got Michigan over Michigan State 17-10. Northwestern down 21-0 to Wisconsin in the second quarter. Iowa over Illinois 24-0. Tulsa down by 3 to West Virginia in the second quarter. Wake Forest up 12-7 over Clemson. Pittsburgh down by 10 to West Virginia Tech in the second quarter. And once again, we're going to take you to a break. You're watching the MAC Conference football on Fox Sports Net. Don't be surprised by the score. 24 for Bowling Green, 14 for University of Central Florida. The reason why that's happening today is a definite thing. Daunte Culpepper is being taken out of his environment. What's happening is the Bowling Green offense is acting like a double-edged sword. It's acting like an offense, but as defense as well. The defenders for Bowling Green are doing an excellent job of really getting after him. It seems like they've watched the Purdue tape from last week and have come to that and said, hey, we're going to get after Daunte Culpepper and not let him scramble around. And on the other hand, Ricky Schneider has elevated his game today and has been a great replacement for Bob Neiman. Now we have scores and a feature from the MAC Awards candidates.
We're at halftime at Daunte Perry Stadium. Jeff Pecoro and Eric White with you. A very entertaining first half, Eric. 24-14. Bowling Green leads Central Florida.
Very surprising so far. Bowling Green's done a very good job of controlling this tempo in the game, and we were very shocked this score, 24-14 at half.
Ricky Schneider's looked very good. And let's go to the highlights of the first half and show you just how Ricky Schneider and Bowling Green have jumped out to this big 10-point lead at the half. Eric?
Ricky Schneider playing very consistent football today. Everybody was questioning how he'd play when he's starting. There we got a good look at Godfrey Lewis hitting between the tackles right there for BG's first touchdown. Ricky Schneider has done a very good job, like you talked about, leading this team down the field. Nice, safe drives. Here, everybody's All-American. Daunte Culpepper answers with a touchdown to Timms right there, filling in for an injured Joey Hubbard. And Central Florida strikes back. And here again, we got Ricky Schneider asked to make a few plays today, not too many. They're going to give him nice positions for success. Put the Central Florida defender out on an island right there, and Lige goes in for the touchdown. And Bowling Green again established himself with the lead right here. And this might be the surprise play of the first half. Kurt Gerling, who Bowling Green was looking for some playmakers this week, steps up wide open, just hoping that ball would come down and not catch a big gale of wind. Makes a big play for the touchdown right there. And Culpepper creating his own hole right here, using that big 6'4", 240 frame to score. And Central Florida keeps pace with Bowling Green. That was at a point in the game which they desperately needed a score right there.
And Strasser, of course, added the field goal, made it 24-14. You see the first downs there, BG ahead, but the big stat that jumps right at you is rushing yards, 129-19.
129, that's exactly what the number Gary Blackney wants. And then tip that all the way down the bottom at time of possession. That tells the story right there as well. You got 18 minutes, 24 seconds controlling the football. And it doesn't hurt if your average possession, you start at your 41.
That's right. Let's head down to the sidelines. Charles Arbuckle was able to speak with Mike Kruchek. Charles?
Well, Jeff, Coach Kruchek basically said he was upset about how they played the first half. And the one thing is he had a real heated debate with Culpepper going into the second quarter on a long drive. Told him, hey, you need to be aware of what's going on. You need to watch the blitz. I need more from you. Back up to you guys.
Charles, and again, 24-14 is the score here as we get ready to start the second half. And if you remember early in the game, it was a defer by Bowling Green, so they will get the ball to start the second half as Central Florida will kick off to them. And we're going to get things started here in just a minute. 24-14, again, your score here. And here we go with the second half. And again, with the wind at his back, a nice boot all the way into the end zone. And that drives the receiver back, and they're going to have to start Bowling Green at the 20-yard line. Nice kick that time. Again, Chad Downey is getting all the action at kicker today and punter. And he's responded very well, has Downey.
And we're curious how Coach Kruchek's defense responds here in the second half. I'm sure he was anything but kind there at halftime, as Charles had a chance to hear what Coach Kruchek was selling.
You know, as players, we've all been in those locker rooms in this situation. A team that was expected to come in here and really light things up has had some problems, and Ricky Schneider and that offense for Bowling Green was so impressive early. He gets to start the second half. 14:53 as we're just underway here in the second half. First drive of the second half, and Bowling Green leads it by 10. Ricky Schneider, the sophomore quarterback, hands off to Hollis in some running room as he breaks outside across the 20 up to about the 24. So again, on first down, positive yardage for Bowling Green.
Jeff 5 comes up and makes a very nice tackle right there. And look for the Bowling Green offense right now. The thing they do not want to do is rest on this lead. They have a 10-point lead, but they're dealing with a very prolific Central Florida team that can put points on the board, as they've demonstrated over the past couple of years, very quickly. So Ricky Schneider and his Bowling Green offense has to still move the sticks, still get first downs, and get some points on the board.
I think you're exactly right. You can't get conservative with this lead because it can evaporate very quickly with this offense of Central Florida. Wide receivers to both sides, the I formation behind Schneider. It's the pitch and a sweep. And this time it's Godfrey Lewis across the 25 to 30. Breaks in again midfield to the 40, 45. Up almost to midfield is Godfrey Lewis. And the big play again by the Bowling Green offense.
And let's credit at the senior fullback, Adam Lige right there. He makes this thing happen right here. He gets out in front, gives Godfrey Lewis a lane to run the football in. See right there, the big tackle pulling, but watch number 2, Lige right there, looking for somebody to hit, puts him on the ground, and Lewis keeps his balance, breaks to the outside. As a true freshman, you wouldn't know it right here today. Running extremely well is Godfrey Lewis.
Eric, you know what I liked there at the end when he saw the defense come up? He switched hands. He had the ball in his left arm. He switched it over to his right arm away from the defense as he was getting ready to get hit. A very smart
move right there.
Very smart play by a freshman. 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver for Bowling Green as it's 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. And this time they go to the fullback right up the middle. Nothing doing for Brett Martin.
Right there, Bowling Green trying to catch Central Florida off guard, and there that interior little belly play. Bowling Green likes to run a quick hitter by the fullback between the guard and the center. Credit Central Florida right there for the defense.
Yeah, Fred Harley's been very aggressive up front today. He plays what they call the defensive end position for them as they flip guys from side to side, strong and weak. But Harley at the defensive end, he's 6'3", 245, just a sophomore. 11 tackles, 1 for loss, and 1 sack on the season. Very active up front.
The Central Florida defense has to find a way to slow down that BGO line right now. They were getting pushed around the first half. That cannot continue for them if they're going to have a success here in the second half.
Slot formation. Again, it's Lige right up the middle, and again, not much running room there, maybe a yard. And immediately up there to make the stop again is number 2, Paul Miranda, and Mike Palmer. Palmer, the captain of this defense.
This looks like the first time Bowling Green, I believe, has been in 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, that is. So I'm curious of how play calling is going to go by Mike Farragelli, the offensive coordinator.
You know, early in the game and before the game started, we knew Coach Blackney wanted to keep Schneider out of these situations where he had to make the play, but he's done it all game so far. In motion is Gurley, had a sterling first half. Schneider rolls out, he's got some time, looking, fires, and Gurley can't hang on to it as he makes the driving try. And again, number 3, Reginald Doster right on him. And Bowling Green's going to have to kick. Schneider just got plastered, and there you see him coming up slow.
Yes, he did. He gets up very slow. Mike Massaros, the trainer right there on hand to help him. They roll him out right here, trying to give him some room, trying to mix it up, not keep him in the pocket. Took him right up there near the neck.
Took one right in the mouth. And, you know, we were talking before the game, you guys at quarterback get hit every single time you throw the ball. People don't see that.
Yeah, often you just get credited for the sacks that you hear about quarterbacks getting sacked, but they forget to realize, like you said, you get hit about every play. You have someone grabbing at your ankles, in your face, trying to go at your throwing hand every time. It can be difficult for a quarterback.
So Pollock gets this one away, and it's taken down at about the 4-yard line. And again, that's Reginald Doster that takes it there and gets it across the 15 to about the 17. We're going to take a break. 12:30 left in the 3rd quarter. The Falcons lead Central Florida 24-14. You're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. Back at Deutsch Perry Stadium, watch the hit that Ricky Schneider takes at the end of the play.
And this is the worst way to get hit if you're a quarterback, and the reason why you're exposed. You have no way of protecting yourself. After you throw the pass, you're still in your follow-through and your release. And the linebacker right there, Hardman, came right through Ricky Schneider. He's getting a lot of attention right there, as you can see over there on the bench. Particularly after he's playing such a very good game, very consistent effort so far. They really like to have Ricky Schneider back in there.
Took it right on the chin right there. So Central Florida takes over the first time in the second half. Daunte Culpepper, the quarterback. Wide receivers both side, offset in the backfield. Culpepper turns, and there's the give. That is Amari that has it, and Amari Howard takes it up across the 20-yard line, running to the right side.
And again, Central Florida's not panicking. We talked in the first half. It's a very experienced team. And the thing that makes them very experienced, they have a very experienced signal caller in Daunte Culpepper. They're not going to come out, really have to throw 50-yard bombs to get back in this game. They're going to stick to their game plan. A very experienced move by a very experienced team.
So Central Florida going with the freshman Amari Howard in the backfield. He is the setback you see there. And this time Culpepper fires it up to the right side. And that's Zaya Burley once again who makes the catch again coming into the game. 21 catches by Burley. And that time, as the defense plays off, that was Junior Williams who gave him a little bit of a cushion, and Burley just steps up on 2nd and 4 and makes the 6-yard pickup for the first down.
Junior Williams been harassing these receivers all day. It looks like him and Burley have a little personal battle right there. But right there, just an illustration of Daunte Culpepper's arm strength. Far hash, able to throw that ball right back across the field on a rope into the receiver's hands, let him make a play.
Pro set behind Culpepper, Sessoms and Amari Howard in the backfield. Wideouts both ways as Culpepper calls the play from the line of scrimmage. And they're going to run it again, and this time it's Howard off the right side. He gets across the 30 to about the 32, but nice defensive play up there up front. Dana Johnson and Latoski Carey up there.
Just like Latoski Carey, the transfer from Rutgers a couple years ago, coming over, running down the line, making the play. They need big efforts from these players. I got some seniors on here, been around the program a long time, haven't had a lot of success the past couple years. They want to make this a very memorable senior season here.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 7 situation, and you saw Culpepper checking on his wrist, and again, calls many of the plays as they signal them into him, and he calls them right there at the line of scrimmage. And again, 2 tights, 2 wide receivers. We call this the ace set, and this time the play action fake, and he fires deep downfield. He's got a man wide open, and that's number 18, Mark Nodset. He's going to go to the house. All the way in for the touchdown, 68 yards. Daunte Culpepper to Mark Nodset.
And for all you those at home have been holding your breath, waiting for Daunte Culpepper to make a big play, he delivers here early in the 3rd quarter. And what's most impressive about this play, how long Daunte Culpepper holds this football. Daunte stays in the pocket, hangs. As a matter of fact, threw this ball off his back foot right into the arms of a streaking Mark Nodset.
Showed how strong his arm is. Nodset coming into the game, 13 catches, 192 yards, averages almost 15 yards a catch, and that's his 2nd touchdown of the year. And once again, Chad Downey in for the extra point. It's up and just inside the upright there, and that makes it quickly 24-21. Still 10:45 left in the 3rd quarter. 24-21, the Falcons lead. You're watching MAC football on Fox Sports Net. Back at Bowling Green, Daunte Culpepper in Central Florida has cut Bowling Green's lead to 3. Eric, take us through the touchdown pass.
Nice play action by Daunte. He holds the ball. He's backing up right there. A defender at his legs. One of the toughest balls to throw, that deep corner route. Nice touch over the head of the defender. Nodset goes for the touchdown.
Nodset again, that great move on the post corners you were talking about, and just took it to the house.
And there's a happy Daunte Culpepper, very patient as we discussed, trying to know that this defense will eventually break down, show him some different looks. But he's a very smart, very experienced quarterback, able to recognize that, convert that for 6.
Back deep for Bowling Green, that's Leon Weathersby and Matt Bunsey as they await Chad Downey's kick. Downey gets into this one. It's going to be Bunsey about 4 yards deep, and he'll down it in the end zone. So Bowling Green now with just a 3-point lead. It's 24-21. They'll take over from the 20-yard line. It'll be very interesting to see which quarterback comes in, as Schneider really took a hit, but he's up, got the helmet on, and he's going to come back in. Again, Nemeth was on the sidelines throwing the football, trying to get loose, but Schneider here showing some mettle. And he says, hey, let me go back in there and prove to these guys I can play big-time football.
I'll tell you what, I've had the opportunity to be in the role of a backup quarterback, and when you get your chance to play, they're going to have to kill you to take you off that field. And Ricky Schneider knows he may not get many opportunities to start. This is one of them. He's going to make the most of this opportunity.
Huge series here, obviously, for Bowling Green. Have to answer and get a couple of first downs. Wide receivers both way in the I formation. Jumping off sides all over, and the flags fly on the long count that time by Schneider. Looked like they were trying to blitz right up the middle were Central Florida.
Central Florida trying to bring some pressure here, trying to get momentum totally back on their side.
Defense, offsides, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You really like that as a quarterback, knowing now it's 1st and 5. There's so many more plays that you can use. Watch here, the long count, hard count. And
let's give Ricky Schneider some credit. He's not worked with the first offense that much, using some different voice inflections down there. That's one of the quarterback's greatest weapons, the ability to change his voice pattern, change up the count a little bit, get that defense guessing. They're mentally locked in and guessing on that count. Good job by Schneider.
Once again, the I formation as Gerling comes in motion. Schneider turns and gives off, and that is number 20, Robbie Hollis. Not much running room as he gets across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Give him 1, and that's going to bring up 2nd down and 4. Inside of 10 minutes now left in the 3rd quarter. 24-21 if you're just joining us. Bowling Green on top of Central Florida. And Ricky Schneider, his first start, pretty darn good out there today,
I'd say very good today. I don't know anybody to know what to expect today with Ricky Schneider getting his first start. We've talked about him a lot today. The Bowling Green offensive coordinators have done a very good job putting him into situations for success. Haven't asked a lot of him today. Just be nice and steady, consistent, move the sticks. Done a very good job so far.
Leon Weathersby out wide. The I formation behind Schneider. Long count at the line of scrimmage. He turns and gives again off right tackle. Nowhere for Godfrey Lewis to go that time. And Central Florida's defense, I think, got a tongue lashing at halftime. They've come out the second half and have stepped it up a little bit.
Coach Kruzik looks like he could get anybody's attention. He has that type of presence, and I have a feeling there in the second and at halftime, he had the opportunity to express his concern, if you will, to that Central Florida defense.
And this is one of those players that had to step up. Mike Palmer, the captain of the defense, at 6 foot 245. He's a senior. 20 tackles, second on the team there. 6 tackles for loss and a sack already on this young season.
And believe it or not, Mike Palmer was a high school quarterback. If you can believe a guy like that big and that can hit, was a high school quarterback.
3rd and 4, big play for Bowling Green. And Schneider drops back. Here comes the rush. He gets it off short. Kind of short on that a little bit, and a flag comes down. That might be a late hit on Central Florida as Schneider takes another lick again, and that time he was trying to hit Martin out of the backfield.
And this is going to disappoint Coach Kruzik.
Well, again, we've got another Bowling Green player down.
As the trainers tend to him right there.
Roughing the passer. Defense at the 15-yard penalty, and it's an automatic first down.
You know, on defense, Eric, it's almost like a boxer. You've got a guy staggered a little bit, and I'm talking about Schneider. Last time they really laid him out good, and so this time you've got a chance to get a hit on him, albeit a little bit late. Now you have to pay for it, a 15-yard penalty, but I'm sure the defense saw him kind of limp off the last time and knows he might be on the ropes.
A very aggressive move by the defense right there. However, it came at a very inopportune time. They had him on 3rd down. Schneider short-armed it to the flat, but it was that late hit. And I'm sure Coach Kruzik and his staff is not very happy about that.
That's big Eric Curl, the right guard, 6'2", 275. He's a redshirt sophomore from Livonia, Michigan. You see him coming off the field, and again, that right leg, he does wear knee braces on both knees, and every lineman on the team there wears knee braces, and that's a great thing that's come into college football since I played. Everybody has to wear the knee braces on this Bowling Green team, and I think that's a great innovation for them.
That's the way to go. You can never be too safe. There's a good look at Eric Curl. Eric's father was all Big Ten at Michigan State, played some pro ball with the Steelers. So Eric comes from a very good football family.
So once again, the big penalty on the defense, roughing the passer, gives another first down situation for Bowling Green. And again, the clock continues to run now inside of 9 minutes, 24-21 Bowling Green leads, and have to answer the big play offense of Central Florida. 68-yard touchdown pass from Daunte Culpepper, and now Bowling Green has to answer. 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line, and again going with that 2 tight formation and 1 wide receiver. That's Kurt Gerling at the top of the screen. He comes in motion. Schneider again drops back, and this time has some pressure, steps up nicely, got a man, hits Gerling right in the tummy, but he dropped it. Fry in front of him, might have gotten a hand in his face, and the ball was able to get into his body, and as a receiver, you got to keep it away from your body, don't you, Eric?
You got to use those hands. Sometimes the receivers get lulled in and they want to use that body right there. But let's credit Paul Miranda right on his shoulder right there, not giving Ricky Schneider much space to throw that football. It looks like, so far, these BG quarterbacks are maybe found a target here. So far this season, they haven't had a go-to guy. Maybe Kurt Gerling's going to break out of the pack here today and be that go-to guy the rest of the season.
Boy, you saw the speed right there, Miranda, as Gerling was in front of him, and he was able to come all the way around the receiver to break up that pass
Great
play.
Closing speed.
2nd and 10 again for the 41. This time Twins up at the top, and we're going to have a sweep to the bottom, and that's Godfrey Lewis, and just nowhere to go. This defense has really stepped it up here this second half. Godfrey Lewis, no gain. Might have lost a couple of feet.
And let's credit Deion Porter. What Deion Porter coming hard from the left end right there forces Lewis to cut back inside. You'll see him kind of lunge at his feet. He has to cut back inside right there, right into the arms of the defense. So let's credit him for that, forcing Lewis back inside where he didn't originally plan to run.
Deion Porter, one of the top players on this defense, was banged up at Purdue. Strained his back, and they were worried that he might not be able to go, but you see him in there gutting it out. He's a senior, 18 tackles, 2 for loss. He's really a strong safety. They play him at linebacker. 3rd and 10. Here comes the rush. Everybody in there, and they just absolutely engulfing. Big number 98, Raheem Ponteflit, is right there and plants Schneider for an 11-yard loss. Wow.
Raheem on the play right there. Schneider had nowhere to go, turned right back into that sack, and they brought everybody on this play right here, does Central Florida. And Raheem Ponteflit is right there. Schneider does a good job of hanging on to the football, but forced BG into a punting situation. So Central Florida defense comes out and matches the BG offense.
Bowling Green's best weapon this year coming into this game has been this man you see right there, number 16. He leads the nation, 49-2 a kick. And he gets this one off, and when you say it, he doinks it.
Typically, that's how it works.
A duck snort to the 45-yard line. 25-yard punt by the leading punter in the nation, Andy Pollock. 24-21, BG leads Central Florida. You're watching Mid-American Conference football on Fox Sports Net.
Volleyball fans are invited to Youth Night on October.
It's nighttime on Sunshine, and UCF is ready to rock and roll this season. Culpepper's crew is catching attention, and the Rockets are next in line. UCF takes on Toledo next Saturday night at 7 on Sunshine. It's nighttime on Sunshine. Mike Kruzek brings UCF into another glorious football campaign, and the Golden Knights are ready. Want to know more about Coach Mike Kruzek? Watch his show, The Mike Kruzek Show, Wednesday at 6:30 on Sunshine.
Back at Deutsche Perry Stadium, Bowling Green leads 24-21. Let's head down to the sidelines at Charles Arbuckle.
Well, Jeff and Eric, they're working on Eric Curl right now. He has a cramp in his calf area, and they feel he should be back. This is a big kid. They need him in that offensive line. He's done a great job today. Back up to you guys.
Thanks. Well, that's good news. It's just a cramp and not the knee. I thought it was the knee they were working on, but that's great news. Get some fluid in him. You see him, they're stretching it out there, and hopefully he'll be able to return next series. 1st and 10 for Central Florida from the 45. Culpepper with 2 receivers, and he's going to throw. It's the screen again, and this time it's to Mark and Notson. And you saw what he did last time he cut the ball, and this time, again, about a 7-yard pickup, and it's just that wide receiver screen.
Wide receiver screen coming right down the line, getting big Cornell Green, that big tackle, running flat down the line, taking out that cornerback, giving Nonset room to work.
By the way, on that touchdown pass, Daunte Culpepper has become the all-time leading passer in the history of Central Florida. 9,065 passing yards. He now has 9,073, 207 on the day already. Still have a quarter and a half left to play. Wide receivers both sides. The split backs behind Culpepper as he barks out the signals. Quickly 3-step stop and go. Nothing doing. And 92 right there on top of him, and it's going to be a penalty. Big number 92 breaks through and gets the drop for Bowling Green. And it looks like there might be a penalty on Culpepper for grounding. 92 is Brandon Hicks, a defensive lineman.
I think you're exactly right. Central Florida have been running this little hitch, this little 5-yard hitch out to the sideline all day. They finally set him up with the hitch and go. Culpepper will pump fake, waiting for his receiver to go upfield, but there was nowhere to throw it to. Try to dump in the flat, no receiver. They caught him.
The 3rd down.
Brandon Hicks that time just battling up front with Chris Laurenti, and that of course is a loss of down penalty. So now it brings up a 3rd and 15 situation as they called grounding on Culpepper. Brandon Hicks, 6'1", 250, he's just a sophomore. So giving some of the starters a rest.
Giving other guys opportunities, and so far the Bowling Green interior has done a good job of staying after Culpepper.
Culpepper again, just 2 wide receivers, 2 tights this time. The ace formation with the single back. Culpepper's got to get 15. He drops back, here comes the blitz. He fires it off the right side, complete. And again, that's Sia Burley once again. And how many times are they going to run this corner pattern? It's so tough.
Burley seems to be their man. The corner route is tough to defend. As we mentioned earlier, you need a lot of protection. More importantly, you need a quarterback who's going to stand in the pocket and hold the football. Here's Burley working out here on Williams. Breaks into the corner, freezes him, turns him around, creating some space to catch the football. That is why Culpepper is going to be playing on Sundays next year. The ability to throw that corner route, that 30, 40-yard route flat.
Well, I like what you said there. You've got a quarterback that's will stand in there and take the hit, because you've got to wait a long time for that pass to be thrown. And now Central Florida is going to call timeout. Culpepper did not like the personnel he had in the game, so he calls the timeout, and then running off the bench comes in number 34, one of the running backs. So that's actually Ben Goldberg, who's now moved out to tight end. So I think they only had 10 men on the field, and Central Florida has to take the timeout. But boy, here's a point in this game where Gary Blackney's defense really has to step up and make a stop here.
This could be a big momentum swing right here, this drive, however it turns out. If they give up a touchdown, give up a field goal, well, I'm sure if you're Gary Blackney, you'd like to stop them all together right here. Central Florida's working their way back into this football game. Gary Blackney's defense has done a very good job so far today, neutralizing him, slowing him down, keeping everything in front of their defensive backs.
The big difference here in the second half has been the play of the Central Florida defense. Boy, it came out on fire, and you can sure bet that at halftime that Coach Krutchik and the rest of that defensive set over there really got on those guys, and they came out fired up in the second half and really has held Bowling Green in check. 1 first down came on a roughing the passer penalty. Other than that, not much going on offense for Bowling Green here in the second half.
That's a good chance for Culpepper. Showing a lot of experience, doesn't like what he sees. He calls a timeout. Talking to Coach Kruzek this week, I asked him what's the biggest thing he liked in Daunte's development. And he said he likes the mental aspect. The fact that he sees something and the applications he takes to carry it out. Really trusts Daunte on the field out there.
So once again, wide receivers both sides. Kenny Clark nearest to you. Up top, it's Sia Burley, and they go to the run right up the middle. And a nice big 6-yard gain. That's number 21, Amari Howard again.
Amari Howard getting an opportunity to fill in for Mike Grant today, making the most of his opportunities.
Just a freshman out of Syracuse, New York. Went to Milford Academy up there, 5'9", 215 pounds. You see him coming out of the game there. And again, a little spark in that offensive backfield. Howard coming into the game, averaged 4.2 yards a carry, so he's played as a freshman quite a bit. And once you see, very deep setback behind Culpepper. And there's the turn and give to Mike Grant. Goes right up the middle, and not a whole lot there as Bowling Green's middle of the defense makes the stop right at the 30. And so once again, a big third down situation, 3rd and 3 for this Bowling Green defense.
And there's Howard right there. You mentioned he's from Syracuse, New York. He's one of the few players on this squad that's actually not from the state of Florida. They have 72 players on their roster from the state of Florida. But as you can see, they get more exposure, and as their program grows, they're able to get players from other states and other places of the country to come down into Orlando and play at Central Florida.
As you see there on your screen, Culpepper yells out to his wide receiver, Kenny Clark, and he checks on his wristband to see what pass route he's going to run here. Big 3rd and 4 situation for Central Florida. Huge play for the defense of Bowling Green. 24-21 with 4:50 left in the 3rd quarter. And flags fly. And it's going to be too much time. Yeah, delay a game for Central Florida, so that's going to back them up 5 more. So it's going to bring him a 3rd and 8 situation for Central Florida.
Delay the game, 25-second count on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
There you saw a nice shot of Coach Kruzek and Daunte Culpepper going over what they want to play.
And sometimes, believe it or not, when you have too experienced a quarterback, he gets in his own comfort zone, and he likes to put you in a different plays and different audible. Think too much because you have so much at your exposure. You can do anything you like. And Daunte may have been out thinking himself right there on the look the defense was giving him right there.
So here we go. They re-racked it. It's 3rd down and about 9. Got to get to about the 32 as Culpepper rolls out, looking downfield. He fires it off. It's complete right at the yard marker. And that's number 88, Kenny Clark, that pulls it down. Clark's the one that they like to go too deep. The average is almost 18 yards a catch and 3 touchdowns. But this time he went right to the stripe and was taken out of bounds. And the way the ball spotted, it looks to be maybe a little bit short here.
And Bowling Green tried to mix them up on defense. They came up to the line of scrimmage, showed a man-to-man look, bump and run. Right at the snap of the ball, they bailed out of there. However, Culpepper and his receiver did a very good job of recognizing that, getting the sticks.
And as you saw there on the replay, great shot that time by our camera crew. You saw the knee out of bounds just before the red stripe, and that's where the end of the stick is, and that's where he was at. But a great play by Junior Williams to try to pull him back a little bit. And there you see they're going to stretch the chains out, and it is going to be...
That's a 1st down.
Dave, I got the ball.
A 1st down. So 1st and 10 for Central Florida. They needed 9, they got 9.
Let's credit Junior Williams making a very good adjustment. He's played safety primarily his career. This year asked to come over to play cornerback. A very tough move because oftentimes when you're at safety, you get to kind of run around the whole field. At corner, you're locked right in on a guy. So let's credit Junior Williams. Already he's been blanketing these Central Florida receivers today.
So 1st and 10 now from the 27 as Central Florida's offense has found its rhythm and has really taken some time off the clock here inside of 4:30 to go, as you see there. Culpepper turns, and there's a handoff. And guess who? Mr. Howard again. This time he runs it up all the way down to about the 22. And actually, that's Mike Grant back in the game as they keep going back and forth. Grant the senior, Howard the freshman. And let's go down to the sidelines at Charles Arbuckle. Charles?
You're probably upset with this, but they're running the football. And I think they're going to that game plan because they have a much bigger offensive line like you alluded to. 310-pound average, probably outweighing Bowling Green's front 4 by about 50 to 60 pounds. They need to run the ball, but they also have to pass. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Charles. He alluded to that offensive line at 6'5", 309 pounds is the average on that offensive front. Here comes a sweep, and a nice play that time by the defense. Number 32, Joe O'Neill. Haven't caught him much today, but he is the stickler inside, and number 44, DJ Durkin, also in there. O'Neill, the fifth-year junior, 22 tackles is from that middle linebacker spot. He and Durkin ate him up.
This is Joe O'Neill's third year starting here, so he's very familiar with this Falcon defense. He is by far the leader of this defense, leads the team with 22 tackles. Last had the luxury the past few years of playing with his brother Kevin, side by side. Kevin now with the Detroit Lions, great linebacker here from Bowling Green.
So as the crowd gets into it a little bit here at Dwight Perry Stadium, 3rd and 9 for Central Florida. Culpepper's got time, fires it out again. It's complete on the corner pattern, and again it's Saya Burley. This combination has struck time and again today, and it's the deep out pattern by Burley.
The Bowling Green defense has done a very good job today, with the exception of not having a true answer for Saya Burley. Saya Burley running that deep comeback route. The ball's on the way before he even turns around right here. And here's what they do to Culpepper. Culpepper rolling out to the right. You see Joe O'Neill bearing down on him, stays in the pocket, delivering the football. All good quarterbacks know they're going to take the hit, but they have to find a way to get rid of the football. And beautiful timing right there by the Central Florida Knights.
Saya Bailey's so quick that Dobbs has to give him some room out there, and you saw what happened. Too much cushion. She'd rather have him throw it in front of you than behind you, and we've got flags on the play. Look like might have procedure against the offense yet again. And Mike Kruschik had told us that the one thing that's really irked him in the last couple of games with this team has been the penalties. Against Purdue, they had 11.
And that's
Good ball, full start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Nothing hurts your momentum, or nothing hurts your rhythm, or takes you out of sync worse than penalties. A perfect pass right there, a big gain for a first down. Then you get a penalty. It backs you up, puts you in a little tougher spot. Coach Kruschik been around a long time. He's seen a lot of plays and series stalled because of senseless penalties.
And the field is already shortened when you're into the red zone. And now, instead of 10, it's 1st and 15 from the 17. So they got to get all the way down to the 2-yard line for a first down. First down again for Culpepper. Ace formation, 2 wides, 2 tights, and 1 running back. Culpepper throws it out. And that time, Kenny Clark let the ball get into his body. Looked like it might have hit him in the shoulder or the face mask. You got to keep your hands out in front of you.
Kenny Clark, the ball was right on the money.
And it was right on top of him when he cut out of his cut, too. You got to get those head and shoulders around, Eric.
Kenny Clark, the cousin of Daunte Culpepper, played with Daunte in high school. It's his cousin, so you'd think they'd be a natural target. So I'm sure Kenny wished he had that one back right there. But again, Dobbs all over the coverage.
Good coverage by Dobbs. He's out there on the corner island all by himself. And now that brings up 2nd down and 15. Again, they have to get to the 2-yard line for the first down. Ace formation once again, and Culpepper audibles at the line of scrimmage to his receiver. And there's the slant. He's got Saya for the touchdown. He knew it. He gave him the pad on the calf. He said, hey, there's no safety inside. Let's run the quick slant, and they did it to perfection.
And one of the big mistakes Bowling Green has made today, playing man-to-man down here in what they call the red zone. Daunte Culpepper, like you said, recognized that. Burley's been the hot man for him today. Sets him up outside, comes inside, wide open. No one in the middle to defend that post. As a result, touchdown Central Florida.
Eric, when you're a quarterback and you've got that much speed at receiver, you've got to love it when there's no safety back there. It's just man-to-man on the outside, and all he has to do is get inside at 6, and down he puts the extra point up. 28-24. Central Florida takes their first lead of the game.
And like you said, you got to love it when you got that kind of speed and no one in the middle. Sometimes you're wondering, what kind of ball am I going to throw right here? The good thing about it, gives you a lot of opportunity just to throw it up. Nice touch by Daunte. Right open area. Here you got Ken Dobbs coming in the game. Didn't play a lot of the first half, coming in kind of cold. And so obviously a little mismatch, but Burley has definitely been the hot man, particularly this drive.
Yeah, and once again, what we're talking about on that one, man-to-man, is Dobbs' man up on Burley, that type. No safety help in the middle. A lot of times you'll have a guy right on that hash mark, and when he was taken out, when he came up to go man, Culpepper saw it, he patted his leg, and obviously that's their signal.
That's it. And a good team and experienced players, play together, seniors, been together a while. They recognize those things very quickly and get themselves in the position for success. Surprisingly, again, the big mistake by the Bowling Green defense, having no one in the middle, no inexperienced quarterback like Culpepper back there.
And again, the scoring drive, not a quick one. 5 minutes and 3 seconds to go 55 yards. Took him 11 plays. Saya Burley, 11 receptions now, 146 yards. That gives him 32 catches on the year. This guy's got some pro potential. He looks really good. Got nice hands. The kick by Downey is a deep one, and boy, I tell you what, the wind really helps at this field.
Helps
Out of the end zone, he absolutely destroys that punt, and Bowling Green will be backed up again, and they'll take over again for the 20-yard line. And this offense hasn't done much here in the second half, and there you see the big boys up front, those hogs that got to root things out, and it's time for them to get a drive together.
Slowly, the momentum's turned a little bit. The pendulum swung a little bit. Central Florida's come back answer with 2 big touchdowns in this quarter. Bowling Green hasn't really been able to sustain the drive. You can be rest assured Gary Blackney is telling his troops right now, we have to find a way to get a few first downs, keep this ball moving.
Well, Blackney thought that Furman, Kotzman, Dorley, Curl, and McCarthy should have their way, especially in the second half. Hasn't been the case here in the third quarter with it winding down. 2:10 left, 28-24 Central Florida. Schneider again, it's the option this time. He's going to keep it across the 20 up close to the 25-yard line. The ball pops out, but the ground cannot cause the fumble, so they're giving 4 yards on that one. Slow getting up, that's Kevin Stanky, but he does get to his feet.
And I'm sure Gary wants to keep Ricky from getting hit too often right here. Again, running him on the option, showing surprisingly quickness, good feet, making a good decision. Holding onto the football, pops out right there. A good job by Ricky Schneider, not doing anything too drastic, just keeping the sticks moving. That's his specialty.
Right, 4 yards on first down, so 2nd and 6 situation, a little more makeable there. Total yards, there you see it. What a change, 154 to 23 this quarter.
Tail of the tape.
Wow.
Right now.
In motion comes Weathersby, and Schneider gives off right up the middle. That's Godfrey Lewis, nowhere to go. The defense absolutely stiffened up that time, and Godfrey Lewis on his own kept his feet moving and was able to get across the 25, so he makes something out of nothing. Give him 2 yards on that one.
And let's credit first-year defensive coordinator Gene Chiswick for lighting a fire under these guys. Got them in schemes, got everybody up towards the line of scrimmage, really utilizing the speed, forcing Bowling Green to throw the football. That's the thing coming into this game that Bowling Green anticipated. They're going to walk everybody up, shut down the run, and force them to throw the football.
Eric, when Central Florida left Florida to come up here, Coach Chiswick had to be wheeled to the plane in a wheelchair. He was so sick, viral infection in his stomach, and was able to come out here and
that's dedication.
Make things, yes, it is.
How can you not go out and play for a guy like that?
3rd and 3. Schneider over the middle, complete to his big tight end. Enough for the first down. You need 3, you get 4. Tony Holcomb, the captain, at 6'4", 265, 5th year senior. That's his 5th catch on the year.
And that's his thing. Tony does not get many balls thrown his way. When he does, he generally delivers. You see right here, he just runs an option route. There's no defender, just turns around, makes sure he has the first down, and makes the catch. Good job by Tony Holcomb.
You mentioned the option route, and tell them what that is, because basically the defense, they can't, whatever they do is wrong.
Technically, they should always be wrong. Take a receiver like Tony right there, go down the linebacker. If he's playing outside, you turn inside. If he's playing inside, you turn outside. That's the option. You have the option of choosing which way. It should be just an easy pitch and catch.
So 1st and 10 for the offense now from the 31-yard line. 2 tights again, the hand right up the middle. Godfrey Lewis, nowhere to go. Absolutely stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
The Central Florida defense looks like they're making a true commitment to shut down this running game, forcing them to throw the football. Thus, on the other Bowling Green, you're on the other side of the coin. You have to find a way to stay out of those 3rd and long situations.
Diabri Devine up to make the stop, and that will put it into this 3rd quarter. 1 quarter to go. It's been an exciting game so far. It is now Central Florida leading Bowling Green 28-24. You're watching Mid-American Conference football on Fox Sports Net. 15 minutes of football left at Daunte Perry Stadium. Central Florida now has the lead 28-24 over Bowling Green in a very hard-fought game, and Bowling Green's come up and answered the call time and again, and here's the time when they're going to have to do it again. And Eric, here's the 3rd quarter stats.
Again, the stat you pointed out at halftime, Jeff, rushing yards. Bowling Green still has a very decided advantage, but as you can see on the other side of the coin, Central Florida's up their passing yards, moving the sticks, catching up in time of possession, but really doing the job on passing yards in the 3rd quarter.
So here we go, 2nd down and 9 from the 33-yard line for Bowling Green. Ricky Schneider has gone all the way at quarterback. The sophomore, his first start ever, and it's been a pretty darn good one. Wide receivers both ways in the I formation. Play action pass. Schneider, plenty of time, hits his tight end. Up to the 35-yard line, that's big Tony Holcomb once again. Boy, you think if he could just get off that defender right there, he's got plenty of room to turn it upfield, but boy, that's a big target to throw.
This play's been a mainstay here at Bowling Green for many years. You roll out one way, slip the tight end back the other. They call it a Y shallow, Y being the tight end coming underneath the defense. And like you said, if he splits that right there, he goes for more yards. But again, a very safe pass, very high percentage, get the linebackers flowing one way, come back, hit the tight end going the other.
That was Tyrell Rice from his safety spot that came flying up to make the stop. So 3rd down and 6. A big play here for Bowling Green. 3 wide receivers out of the shotgun is Schneider. He's got some time. Here's the blitz. He gets it off. It's complete to Hollis. He's got some running room. If he can make a play, he's only able to get up to the 40. It's going to be short. Tyrell Rice again comes up and makes a stop. Good tackle that time. He went down low, was able to get both feet and take him down.
And the hit Schneider takes right here, having to stand in there, even out of the shotgun, he gets a little bit more pressure than he was hoping for. Stands in there, takes a good lick, flips it out to Hollis.
And that's Harley again. Fred Harley coming down, number 80.
And here's what it feels like, folks. Right there, you talked about you're always getting hit. Right there's a perfect example. Looks like BG's going to hurry up punt.
And Central Florida calls timeout just as their players were coming off. So they did get the timeout call as Bowling Green sprinted their punt unit onto the field, and Central Florida couldn't get their guys off, and actually a flag came down. See what the call is.
Okay, we got timeout. Okay. Central Florida.
So they'll pick up the flag at the timeout there. So no penalty on Central Florida. Be timeout. We come back. It'll be 4th and 2. You're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. 28-24 is your score from Perry Stadium. 13:39 left in the 4th quarter. 4th down and 2 for Bowling Green. And their weapon, Andy Pollock, into the game. Coming into the game, led the nation at punting at 49.2.
Wind at his back. You anticipate Andy will get a big punt off right here.
After his last punt, which traveled all of 25 yards, he needs one.
He's not used to that, so let's look for him to get the average up a little bit right here.
Pollock awaits. We've already seen one fake. See what they do here. Long count. And he's going to punt it away, and he gets a beauty away. 55, yep, all the way into the end zone. So 58-yard punt for Pollock. Net on that will be 38 yards as the touchback will bring it back out to the 20-yard line. Hotel accommodations for today's MAC football game on Fox Sports Net, provided by Quality Inn Suites in Bowling Green, with a choice of double, jacuzzi, queen single, king leisure, honeymoon suites, and suite accommodations. Quality Inn Suites features meeting and conference rooms, a pool and jacuzzi, plus a restaurant and lounge. Convenient to Bowling Green's football stadium. Call 419-352-2521 for reservations.
Had a good night's sleep there last night.
Yes, we did.
Very good.
And it's pretty convenient, right across the street from the stadium. So 28-24, Bowling Green has to hold. This is what Gary Blackney wanted. Let's be close in the 4th quarter, and he thinks his team can prevail. Ace formation for Culpepper. Returns in the handoff. Right up the middle, off right tackle goes number 21, Amari Howard. Got some running room and picks up 7 yards.
Now, if you're a big offensive lineman, this is the time of game you like. You've been running the ball consistently all game. You get those big men up in front. Now you get a chance. You got a lead. You want to work some clock. You just want to pound those guys right now. Keep the ball out of their offensive hands and just pound them. And look for Central Florida to do a lot of that this drive.
And again, it's been warm today, but obviously Central Florida, this shouldn't hurt them. They hit 6'5", 309, the average up front on that offensive line. Culpepper again gives off to Howard. This time he tries the left side, and plenty of running room there as he keeps his feet moving. And another 7-yard gain. 2 carries. Giving 15 yards on 2 carries goes Amari Howard, just a freshman, but very powerful at 5'9", 215 pounds.
Yeah, this offense showing its diversity. They're not just a one-man show, which everyone anticipates when Daunte Culpepper comes to town. Showing a lot of balance. Here's Howard. Picking his hole. No arm tackles are taking him down. You got to get a good tackle on this young man.
So 1st and 10 again as they move the chains. They're going to the running game. It's Howard again right up the middle. Running behind that huge offensive line. Got Bill Dayton in there now at center. Dayton goes 6'3", 295. I'll tell you what, that is just some big fellas up front. Number 70, Cornell Green, 310. Frank Haynes, 320. Some big ones. And we haven't talked much about him, but there you see number 72, and that's Ryan Gillis. All he did was come back from cancer surgery last year. They took a tumor the size of a baseball out of his shoulder.
Tremendous story. Petitioned for a 6th year of the NCAA, fighting back cancer, coming back and being a strong contributor to this team this year.
2nd down and 6 now. The clock inside at 12 minutes, and they come right back to the run, and this time it's Mike Grant. Grant gets about 3, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and a long 3 for Central Florida.
Again, getting a good push up front right now. Let's not be surprised if they're lulling to sleep right here and Culpepper strikes down the field at one point. But at any rate, they're doing a very good job of controlling the line of scrimmage, unlike earlier in the first half when they didn't have much success at all.
Chris Delavella enters the defense. He's an extra linebacker in this situation. 3rd down, and we'll call it 2 now. Strong side to the wide side of the field. There you see the twin receivers at the top of the screen. Single back behind Daunte Culpepper. 3rd down at 2 from the 44. They come back to the right side. The defense made a nice surge, but nice running that time by Mike Grant, and he's able to get enough for the 1st down. Grant did most of that on his own.
Mike Grant, he doesn't have a 5.3 average per carry for nothing. Able to create his own hole, which all good running backs must be able to do. You're not going to have the picture-perfect hole every time. You got to find a way to get your body up in there, going north and south and fall forward, as he did for that 1st down.
Ran right through Joe O'Neill as he could only get an arm in there to bring him down. Couldn't get the shoulder, and that's why he fell forward. But again, all these backs well over a 4-yard average, and Grant goes 5.3 per carry. Wide receivers both ways, and the single back behind Daunte Culpepper, again using the ground game to work the clock, and that's Edward Mack, and he's a hard runner in there, his 1st carry of the game. He breaks it out for a 5-yard pickup.
And right now, what Bowling Green cannot afford to do is give up any type of score. As this clock goes on and Central Florida is going right down the field, Bowling Green's going to be hard-pressed to answer with points.
Eric Edward Mack comes into the game. He's only got a 9.3-yard average, and you can see why. Look how quick he hits the hole, and he darts right through there.
When you have the luxury of bringing guys off the bench with a 9 some odd average carrying the football, that's a great luxury if you're Mike Kruzek.
That's amazing. Central Florida content to run the football here, and this time it's the play action. Nice play action by Culpepper. He's got a man deep, and he's going to go for it. Nice defensive coverage that time. Nice makeup by Junior Williams. He made up a lot of ground that time, and Junior says, hey, Mark Nonsant pushed off on me.
And as we anticipated, we thought they can only run the ball so long. That's not in their character too often. A nice little play action boot. Daunte getting out on the corner. This ball hung on him a little bit. Remember, he's throwing into the wind this quarter, so he may not be used to it. Putting a little air on that ball may not be the best thing at times. And Junior Williams was right there.
Right, as you saw, Junior Williams, as Nonsant was behind him, but Williams saw the pass was going to be short and slowed up a little bit. And he actually thought there was offensive pass interference, but 2 guys going for the ball. Got to let him play a little bit. 3rd down and 5 now from the 47-yard line of Bowling Green. Twins to the top of the screen, 2 tight ends for Daunte Culpepper. The single setback is Mike Grant. Culpepper drops straight back, 3-yard drop, fires it off, complete, and another 1st down. He throws it into a host of Bowling Green tacklers, but coming away with it once again is Kenny Clark, and Kenny Clark and Saya Burley have done most of the damage this afternoon from the wide receiver spot.
Well, Kenny Clark doing a very good job so far, coming across the middle, hanging in there for those curl routes. As a look at concerned Gary Blackney there on the sideline. And that's Central Florida's version of the option route. We talked how Bowling Green did it. They go in, they work off the defender. Central Florida does a lot of the same thing, although they do it with their wideouts. They'll come inside and play off the defender and find an opening for Daunte to hit him.
So 1st and 10 again for Central Florida. The clock now inside of 10 minutes, and Central Florida leads 28-24. Hand off to Grant again. This time, good running room in the middle. A nice cutback by him. And Grant's able to pick up 6 yards on 1st down again, and it sets up 2nd and 4.
And a good job by Grant right here, showing great vision. All the great backs seem to have very good vision. This play starts out right. He sees a little bit of an opening back left right there, finds the hole, gets running north and south. And that's a great trait a running back has, being able to have that vision to find his opening.
You know, it's so much easier for us to see those holes up here. It's amazing that those guys, with everybody running around them and so much going on, they were able to see that, but the great ones have it. Going to be inside of 9 minutes on the snap. Central Florida leads by 4. Ace formation, and they're going back to the run. Amari Howard breaks through the line, and they're going to have a holding penalty. First penalty in quite a long time, and Mike Kruzek is beside himself on the sidelines as he saw that. Whenever you see David Foley, the umpire, throw the flag as a quarterback, you know what it is, don't you?
You have a tendency to know it's going to be holding more often than not. And Coach Kruzek, if anything, his team he can be concerned about today and so far early this season of the penalty, particularly in a nice drive like this, very ball control oriented, and it slows him down completely.
Watch again, you're going to see it at the top of the screen there.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Looks like we had Big Cornell in there.
Yeah, Cornell locked up on the defender. When you get the hand on the outside of the shoulder pads, especially when you're on the end of the line, they're always going to hold.
They always catch you when you're outside. I'm sure there's a little bit of holding going on every play, but keep the hands inside so the official cannot see it. When you get outside, more often than not, they will call that.
In the framework of the body, you can latch on, but you can't get outside. So that brings us to 2nd down and 14 from the 43. Culpepper straight back. Looking plenty of time. He fires all the way across the field and basically just threw that one away. Great coverage that time downfield by Bowling Green. Nowhere for Culpepper to go with it. But again, good time for him to throw.
Good job for Culpepper right there, scanning the field. Looks like he threw that ball away. Very experienced quarterback. You do not see Daunte Culpepper, and scouting him and watching him here today, throw into coverage too often. He will not throw into double or triple team or just throw it up for grabs. He makes good decisions, very selective in how he throws the football. That's why Coach Kruzek has so much confidence in him out there on the field.
Outside of the one long pass play to Nonsant, the defense has played well for Bowling Green today. It's forced Central Florida to use up much of the clock, and now we're in 8:33 left, and a huge 3rd and 14 for Bowling Green's defense. Culpepper out of the shotgun, looking down the field, plenty of time, throws the post pattern, and a great catch downfield. Charles Lee, he had dropped a couple, and the coaches were a little upset with him and took him out of the starting lineup, but right there, Charles Lee came up huge.
Culpepper hangs in the pocket, finds Charles Lee early in the first half. We saw Charles Lee go across the middle, showing a lot of heart hanging on that ball. And as you mentioned earlier, last week he dropped some key passes, dropped a pass in the end zone for a touchdown versus Purdue. Coach Kruzek was a little mad, wanted to sit him down, didn't want him to start this game. I think Charles got the message, and he comes back with a big catch.
Carl Rose right there, but a great play, and they go back to the run and start working the clock again up the middle, and not much there for Omari Howard that time.
And what a great luxury if you're a quarterback to know you got a guy like Sia Burley, Charles Lee, Kenny Clark, Nonsant. You can look out, and if even a guy's on the sideline catching a breath of fresh air, excuse me, you have the opportunity to come back in and find a guy.
Well, I tell you, you're exactly right. You've got some size out there. Clark goes 6'1", 205. Lee 6'1", 200. And outside 5'11", and Burley 5'11", so you got some great size, and they've got some good hands.
And they all seem to run 4.4, 4.5 40s.
And they run nice routes as well. Twins to the short side of the field, and Culpepper rolls that way. Now he's looking back for the screen, set up beautifully to Goldberg. Got a block in front of him, inside the 20, 15, 10-5, touchdown. Central Florida, 23 yards. Ben Goldberg, the tight end, rolls to the touchdown.
Ben Goldberg, the substitute for Joey Hubbard, coming in. His ability to catch this ball, going for a touchdown. I'm sure it surprised the Bowling Green Bowling Green defense. They have not thrown to the tight end that often today. And right here, a little bit of a delay route, roll everybody right. Keep Goldberg back, and he scampers for the touchdown. Nice job by Ben Goldberg.
And you mentioned, of course, Joey Hubbard, been the starter for a long time, out for the season with that fractured ankle. Downing's extra point is up, and it's good. That makes it 35-24, so an 11-point lead for Central Florida now. 7:27 left in the game. 35-24, Central Florida leads over Bowling Green. You're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. Daunte Culpepper, touchdown pass to Ben Goldberg, and Eric, take us through this play.
Daunte's showing a lot of patience right here. You're rolling right. You know you got to hold it. He's got a time clock in his head. Letting those big linemen get out in front. He throws this ball too early. Those linemen do not get the opportunity to get out in front and get the block and give Goldberg a perfect lane right into the end zone. A very happy Ben Goldberg right there. Not expected probably to play this much this year, able to come in a substitute role, and right here scoring a touchdown. 13 plays, 80 yards. More importantly, move some of that clock.
And more importantly, as you just said, 6:04 goes off the clock. UCF this half, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. Bowling Green, 3 possessions, 3 punts. It was 24-14 at the half. It's now 35-24 Central Florida. And I tell you what, the defense for Central Florida has really stepped it up this second half.
Gene Chiswick's punched in a very good job of bringing more pressure. And right now, we're going to see what Bowling Green's about right here, see if they can open it up. They're going to have to get some big plays. So far today, they've had a very conservative offense. Now they're going to have to open it up a little bit to get back in this game with only 7:21 left.
And once again, you're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. We are at Doak Perry Stadium here in Bowling Green, Ohio. The Falcons, who led 24-14 at the half, now trail Central Florida 35-14. And it's been the defense for Central Florida that's been the difference here in the second half.
That's it. They're giving the ball back to the very potent Central Florida offense. Very patient Central Florida offense, as we discussed, able to score 21 points before Bowling Green knew what hit them.
3 drives in the second half for Bowling Green have resulted in 3 punts. And Ricky Schneider, his first start again, and here they come. Blitzing everybody. Schneider steps up, throws, and a little high, and a flag comes in at the end, and that's probably going to be a hold.
You're probably right there. Schneider did a good job of stepping up, knowing he has to make some plays right now.
Nice protection in that time as they brought everybody, blitzed right up the middle. And obviously somebody latched on and holding right in the middle of that offensive line.
And you probably can suspect that Central Florida is just going to rear back and bring it every play, knowing Bowling Green has to throw the football to get back in this game.
Penalty against the Falcons.
Yeah, and once again, we talked about that a little earlier, that this isn't really a team that likes to play from behind, and they would much rather run the football than have to rely on throwing it to get down the field. And the clock now becomes the ally of Central Florida with 7:16 left, and they lead by 11.
For the Falcons from the 8.
So first down at 22 now from the 8-yard line. You got to get to the 30. Schneider, the I formation behind him. Up formation from his linemen, and they're going to try the draw, and just nowhere to run. The defensive front has absolutely stopped the rushing game. Let's go down to the sidelines and Charles Arbuckle.
Well, guys, as you can see, Central Florida, 3 touchdowns, and the reason why they're mixing it up. And on the sideline, these guys coming off very happy. On defense, you got Robert Palmer, who's out right now. They're trying to work on him. He's moving around the sideline. Looks like he'll be back in, but they're going to miss him on this defense. They must come up with some big plays, Central Florida that is, but Bowling Green has to get the ball down the field. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Charles. And now a gain of 1 the last play, so it's now 2nd and 21.
And this is not the spot you want to be in if you're Gary Blackney right here.
Or Ricky Schneider.
Or Ricky Schneider, yeah, he's on the field.
And he's going to have to call timeout as the play clock was winding down. Schneider calls timeout. And they still have 2 left. That was their first timeout of the game here in this,
and Ricky
especially in the second half.
Pardon me, Ricky wants to be very selective of what he calls down here. Backed up into towards your own end zone. You have to be very selective what you call. You have to get some positive yardage. You don't have the luxury of just running a few traps and working the clock and punting. They need points. They need to move the football. So he's going over to talk with Gary and his staff.
It's a great play because this is where a mistake can really hurt you.
Definitely.
Let's take ourselves a quick break here. You're watching MAC football on Fox Sports Net. Gurley trying to go over him to get to the football. Let's watch it again here. As you said, Demps had the position on him, and Gurley going for the ball goes over top of him.
Again, Demps is stride for stride. Gurley goes over top. Can't fault Kurt Gurley right here. 3rd and 21. You need a big play. You have to go up and try to get that football.
Defense, pass interference, 15 yards previous spot, first down.
And the big thing that does, even though 15 yards doesn't give you a first down, automatic first down on defensive pass interference, and Gurley did what he had to do. You go for it, and hopefully we'll get a flag, and that's exactly what he got. And of course, in college, it's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a point foul like it is in pro football, where it would come out all the way to the 50-yard line. So Bowling Green now has the ball on the 23-yard line, first down and 10. A little bit of breathing room, and in motion again comes Lige out of the backfield. Single setback now back there as Schneider goes to throw. Quick drop and fires it down the middle again. And once again, he's going for Alexander. And once again, Alexander is tripped up. This time by number 4, Jeff Fye. No flag again.
And again, credit Central Florida. They know Bowling Green's going to pass. They're back in their position. They're not out of position, to keeping everything right, stride for stride right here. Jeff Fye running right with the receiver, making sure he gets his hands back. You see a little acting there to the officials. Let him know he does not have his hands anywhere near the receiver. I don't think he'd like to go over and face Coach Kruzik right now if another pass interference.
That's right, but now the clock at 6:11 on this snap, and again, you're down 11. You have to get downfield and do it quickly. 2nd down and 10 from the 23. Fumble on the exchange, and I think Central Florida has it, and they do. Coming up with it on the defense. Mark Richardson is able to come up with it, number 87, the quick defensive end, 6'4", 245 junior. Again, there you see, never had the ball on the exchange, Eric.
It looked like a pretty good snap. Roy Schneider was not able to get a hold of it and seat it into his stomach. And right there, it looks like Central Florida could have gone a long way of securing this victory today with that fumble recovery.
So 35-24 now, 6:07. Be very interesting to see if they go to the end zone immediately or they try to work some of that clock again. You've got an 11-point lead with 6 minutes left in the game, basically, and they come right off the sideline, right to the line of scrimmage. Wideouts both ways, Burley and Bunsey. And they go back to the running game, right up the middle. That's Mari Howard. Not much running room up the middle. Gain about 2 yards, down to the 20.
And Jeff, this is why this time of game, a little over 5 minutes left to go in the game, the ability to run the football is so important. A lot of teams can throw the ball. A lot of great teams in this country throw the ball all over the place, but they don't always have the great running game, or at least an average running game. Right. Central Florida has a better than average running game. They know to run the clock out, secure a victory. All they need to do is keep the sticks moving. They're very good at that.
Second down and a long 7, and as you see, just standing at the line of scrimmage is Culpepper, letting that play clock wind down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gets the snap off just before it goes to 0. The handoff is to Howard, and Howard one right up the middle again, and he gets about 2 more yards, and that's going to bring up third down and 5.
One thing you can be rest assured right now, Daunte Culpepper is not going to make any mistakes with the football. He's going to make sure he secures that ball in his running back's stomach. If he does have to throw the ball, it's going to be a very safe pass, or he'll just throw it away. Very smart quarterback. It's nice to have that kind of leadership at this time of the game.
Clock management so very important, and you saw as he just stands there. Now he stands in the huddle as Kruchik calls the play into him, signals it in. And Coach Blackney can only stand and watch the clock as it winds down. Great effort by his Bowling Green Falcons today as they stood toe-to-toe with Central Florida for 3 quarters. Culpepper to the line of scrimmage, 2-1, and he gets it off with 1 second left, and there's a penalty flag down, and nowhere to go is Howard. He's thrown back for maybe a loss of a yard, but again, a flag on the play, and we'll have to wait and see what it is. It's thrown by the side judge.
Bowling Green can use any help they can get right now, particularly stopping that clock.
And it's going to be an illegal procedure penalty against the offense, so that'll back them up 5, but still giving the ball at third down and 11. Back him up to about the 22-yard line.
6 on the line of scrimmage on the offense. That penalty's declined. It's fourth down.
Penalty against the Knights.
So they need 7 men on the line of scrimmage, only had 6, so that's an illegal procedure, illegal formation. And Bowling Green declines the penalty, so that'll bring a fourth down, and on comes the kicking team for Central Florida. And an important kick here with the field goal would give it a 14-point advantage. And again, it's Chad Downey who has been the punter all year and the kicker today. Field goal from 33 yards out. It's got the distance, and it kind of angles in, and it's good. So it's now 38-24, 4:11 left in the game. And the Golden Knights are pretty happy coming off the field now as they now take a 14-point advantage.
And let's give hats off to Gary Blackney and his boys today. We wonder what kind of game we were to get from them. We had a very good game by the Falcons. They came out. They're not done yet, but they came out, played with a lot of confidence, and I think this is going to be a nice springboard from them as they face OU here at home next week.
Eric, not to second guess the coaches or anything, but is this a point where you might want to now see what Bob Nemeth can do? Obviously not a whole lot of pressure. You're down 14. 4.5 left in the game, and he has the arm to go downfield.
Yeah, Bob Nemeth probably has the stronger arm of the two. As many people know, he's on the bench today. Ricky Schneider getting the start. However, it looks like Gary Blackney has made a very concerted effort to stick with Ricky Schneider today.
And he's played well.
He's
I mean,
played
we're not
well.
knocking the quarterback.
No, I know what you're saying. You want to give guys a chance to make a play. Maybe Bob will get back in here and try something, but maybe he's going to give the confidence to Ricky to say, hey, you took us far today. We appreciate it. You're our guy for next week.
Yeah, and the second half is really Bowling Green ran up some great numbers in the first half. Only 40 yards of total offense in the second half. So there's the scoring drive, 156, 4 plays, 6 yards, a 33-yard field goal, 4 plays in the half. 4 times they've got points on the board.
You called it right, Jeff. You got Bob Nemeth up, warming up on the sideline, knowing he does have the stronger arm of the two, can run around, make some plays.
I just thought it was a time where, you might just try to change the momentum a little bit, see what he can do. So here we go, picking it up on the sidelines, Withersby, and he's going to bring it out across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. And Bowling Green's offense comes on, and it will be Nemeth, the senior, and this guy is a pretty darn good athlete. He's a great baseball player. He's got an arm.
Very good athlete is Bob Nemeth. Bob, the senior, had an up-and-down career so far here at Bowling Green. Very good athlete, though. You mentioned a very outstanding baseball player here at Bowling Green, recruited by Penn State out of high school, most likely to be a draft choice in the major league. So they've asked him to do a lot in this program. So far, he's been a little bit inconsistent, but maybe an opportunity like this to show what he can do in a big play situation
may reestablish some confidence for Bob Nemeth.
On the season so far, as you saw there, only 4 of 20 for 33 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So Nemeth comes out in the first play. It's a sprint out. He's going to keep it across the 20. Makes a move up to the 25-yard line. He picks up 4 yards.
And Gary going to the option again, trying to get Bob out there working one-on-one with the defender, showing his quickness. Gets around the corner a little bit faster than Ricky Schneider, hoping to get up on the defensive back and make a move.
But the thing here is they walk back to the huddle and the time continues to run.
Tempo, that's the thing. I'm sure Gary
3:40.
Blackney and his staff are not too happy. You got to get these plays in and out. You got to make decisions quick and keep that clock from moving.
And we've got an injured Central Florida player down. And again, as you see there, it's a cramp as you see them trying to knead it out. And as the heat here, unseasonably warm for this time of the year, but you would think the Central Florida players, obviously coming up from Florida, used to this, but very hot day today. You got to get a lot of fluids in you, and that player is down on defense.
And often air travel as well. A long flight up yesterday from Orlando. Sometimes you get a little bit dehydrated. 2 tough weeks here on the road. They've been at Purdue last week, here at Bowling Green. Next week they travel to Toledo.
Back here again.
They're our southernmost outpost of the Mid-American Conference.
Yes,
play Ball State this year. So.
And obviously these guys very worried yesterday trying to get out of town, obviously with Hurricane George down there. And they were worried if they were going to get their flight. They were able to make it and make it out in time. And obviously the hurricane has moved on a little bit. It is now over Louisiana, Texas area, so Florida spared the brunt of it.
Talking to SID John Marini before the game, I asked about travel back home, and they may fly out over the Atlantic and come in the back way.
Wow.
Just to avoid this repercussions of the hurricanes.
And that's big Mike Palmer, the 245-pound senior, captain of the defense. 20 tackles, 6 tackles for loss. He's had a sack on the year as well, and he limps off the field there.
Good effort by Mike Palmer.
Good ball player.
Inspirational leader of this team. I think they're probably going to rest him and get him ready for next week's big game.
Come right back after. Boy, it's going to be a high-scoring contest up at Toledo next week. It's a night game.
Oh, 2 great quarterbacks, great atmosphere up at Toledo. You got Chris Wallace and his gang up there at Toledo. I'm sure they're going to have a very good game.
2nd and 5. Plenty of time for Nemeth to throw. He fires over, and nice read that time. Almost an interception by Jeff Fye. Read that all the way and cut right in front of the receiver. Thought he should have had it. Jumps up and down.
Jeff Fye closed on that ball extremely well. That's the thing about this secondary. They played this team 2 years ago, and the thing that Bowling Green said that they didn't have that kind of defense that they do now. They have speed at every position, guys who can close on the ball, and that's really makes them a very balanced team.
A lot of athletes down in Florida, and there you saw one of the great ones. Mr. Football in Florida decided to come to Central Florida. You know, some people thought that he might not make the grades coming out of high school, so Florida State, Florida, some of the others dropped off, but Central Florida did not. And he decides to go there, and it's been a great experience for Daunte Culpepper at Central Florida. Nemeth again back to pass on 3rd and 5. Rolling out's got some time. Fires it off, and again incomplete. Trying to hit out there Kurt Gurley on the deep out pattern, and that's going to bring up a 4th down situation.
Getting Bob out on the perimeter right there, going for Gurley. And I like what Bowling Green's done offensively. They haven't really scored much here in the second half, haven't really moved the ball effectively, but I think they may have established some go-to guys. It's very important as the season plays out. You have some guys, you have some plays you can hang your hat on.
We've got our Gatorade player of the game, and it is a guy by the name of, is it Culpepper? Daunte Culpepper.
One of his many awards, Daunte Culpepper, 23 of 31, 320.
Not the great numbers you would expect. They're only 320 yards.
But look at the passing efficiency, 23 of 31, making very good decisions. Knows what to do with the football. He's the kind of guy you want under center.
Holly gets a boomer away, and Saya's got it way back at his 15, makes a move up to the 20, really belted down hard. Nice tackle there in the secondary by Carl Rose as he brings him down at the 19-yard line. A nice pop there, and there is a penalty flag on the play.
And there's Burley, enjoyed a very good afternoon today.
Boom.
Also returns punts, nice hit.
Rose came flying in there at the end and made a nice hit there and puts him down. 26, but again, there is a penalty flag on the field. And as they try to figure out what's going on down there. Some scores from around the MAC, by the way. Marshall leads Eastern Michigan 23-15. Boy, how about this one at the half? It was Central Michigan 36-0 over Kent. Toledo and Miami at Miami, 7-0. Toledo leads that one.
Very big game down there at Oxford. Both teams picked very high in their divisions.
Holding on the receiving team. Post-scrimmage kick foul, half the distance. 1st down.
So that'll move them back half the distance. And again, we say that Toledo score, and the Central Florida team right back at Toledo next Sunday night. Right back here, just up the road on I-75, about 30 minutes.
Very good game. Always a good atmosphere up there at the Glass Bowl. They get great crowds, night crowds, get the place rocking. Central Florida has the disadvantage of having to travel to Northwest Ohio 2 weeks in a row. So I'm sure Toledo is going to be very happy to see them come to town.
Boy, who would have thought these guys would come in here talking about Central Florida and see them rush the ball 29 times?
That's the thing, you get caught up thinking about Daunte Culpepper so much you forget. They have some very good running backs.
Yep, almost 50-50 in their play selection, and that's Amari Howard getting the call again. Not a whole lot of running room in there as they're going to just try to run this clock out. Now under 3 minutes to go. It's 38-24. Central Florida leads.
Central Florida has some very tough games coming up this year against Auburn, New Mexico. They have some tough ones sprinkled in there.
You know, as an independent, they have to play who will play them.
That's
and
right.
It's so tough for them. And they want to get into some conference somewhere, be it the Big East, Conference USA, somebody. They want to play.
Well, I think if they can keep landing players like Daunte Culpepper at this university and keep seeing the program grow, I see in a matter of a few years they're going to jump into one of those conferences you talked about.
Ace formation, and the flag goes as the handoff is made. We'll have to wait and see what this one is, and some pushing and shoving down there. There's Daryl Jones, who's into the game at a tailback. But again, the flags fly, so we'll have to wait and see.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Second down.
That'll be a half the distance penalty, so they'll knock him back all the way back to the 4-yard line.
If there's anything negative, Mike Kruzek is probably going to be harping on his players. Even on the plane ride home, I have a feeling, are penalties. They've stopped some drives from the day, killed some momentum. Here in particular, they're trying to run the clock out, keep the ball moving, and here's another penalty.
And the one thing it does on a penalty, it stops the clock. So the clock gets to stop, and Bowling Green gets to take a break here. So now we're under 2:30. It's a 2:15. Culpepper will play the clock again as the play clock gets down to 8-7-6 as he looks up at it. Again, the ace formation for Daunte Culpepper in Central Florida. Turns, and there's the handoff once again, straight ahead running. This time it's number 23, Edward Mack. Mack, not a whole lot of running room in there. Maybe loses a yard even.
And the BG defense playing for a lot of pride here.
Yep.
They know they have a very tough conference schedule. We talked about that
And they call timeout. Yep, and they're going to call a timeout. There's still some fight left in Bowling Green. 38-24 is your score inside of 2 minutes. A minute 57 left in this game. And Central Florida, the second half. 4 possessions, 4 scores. And once again, it's 38-24. Let's take a break. You're watching Mid-American Conference football on Fox Sports Net. We are back live at Perry Stadium, 38-24. Central Florida leads Bowling Green. Coming up next, it's Navy at Tulane at 3:30. Most of these Fox Sports Net stations.
And Conference USA game.
Yes, sir. Some games of interest. Marshall and Eastern Michigan now tied at 23, and Toledo and Miami tied at 7.
Games of interest around the league right now.
So the MAC playing tough against each other. And Eastern Michigan jumped up and tied with Marshall. Culpepper, the play action in his own end zone. He's got to get out of there. He throws it off. And he's knocked down, and that hold your breath does Krushik when he's back in the end zone with a minute 50 left, getting knocked around, throwing off his back foot, but gets it out, and one thing it does for Bowling Green, stops the clock. So the incomplete pass there brings up 4th down and 15 to go. They're going to have to punt out of their own end zone, and you got to think right here, Eric, that Bowling Green's going to bring everything, try to block this one.
Bring the kitchen sink right here. Hope they get a piece. If not, get a nice return here. The punter's playing into the wind. So again, maybe a chance for a return from Bowling Green as you see the returner lining up.
10 on the line of scrimmage, though, for Bowling Green. They're going to go after it. And again, it's Chad Downey, and here they come. And Downey gets it away. Not a great kick. It hits at the 28-yard line, and it's fielded at the 30 and hit immediately and brought right down at the 28-yard line. And that's Chad Long, the DB, that comes in to field that punt. So a 26-yard punt, but Downey just wanted to get it out of there. And with 1:43 left, Bowling Green has some great field position at Central Florida's 30-yard line.
And they're not totally out of it yet, being only down by 2 touchdowns, a quick score. They've shown their proficiency at onside kicks already today.
Exactly.
So they're not out of it yet. Nemitz coming back in, hoping to spark them a little bit. Very good field position, so don't turn away just yet. Let's see what the Falcons are made of right here.
Bunsey, Alexander, and Gerling in at the wide receivers. Robbie Hollis behind Rob Nemeth in the backfield. Nemeth under center, a long count, steps straight back, 3 steps, fires off the side, it's complete to Alexander. Alexander's first catch of the game brings it all the way down to the 15. What that does, it's a 1st down. The clock stops at 1:38. Only 5 seconds on that play, and the clock stops until the ball is set.
Nice strike by Nemeth. Central Florida lane back in the zone. They've been playing man primarily the whole game. Now they're going to play a little bit of a cover two deep zone. Bob Nemeth working out of the no huddle right now.
Nemeth out of the shotgun. He rolls out, fires it off, and Gerling has it. And he's going to get knocked out of bounds. And they're going to say keep the clock going as he goes out at the 9-yard line. So the hurry-up offense by Rob Nemeth has produced 22 yards in 2 plays.
And then Rob Nemeth's found his niche here. He's working out a very fast break-oriented offense, throwing some nice balls here. Tough situation.
Once again, they keep the 3 receivers in the game, and Nemeth out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, rolls to his left, looking into the end zone, fires in there, and it's caught for the touchdown, and that's Kurt Gerling.
Just as we fall asleep here, Bob Nemeth and the Falcons come back with a touchdown pass in only 3 plays.
And Gerling has been the guy, the go-to guy this whole game.
Again,
Eric?
we've been repeating that time and time again. They've had no playmakers so far in the first couple weeks of the season. Been waiting for these young receivers to step up. Very young receiving core. And right here, Bob Nemeth rolling to his left. Tough for a right-hand quarterback to roll to his left and throw a nice strike. But Gerling brings that ball in right there. And you talk about a playmaker, a guy that gets some confidence going into the MAC schedule. Bowling Green may have found something about a lot of their players today.
The redshirt freshman, and again, pulls it in for the touchdown. And that's a point right there where his baseball ability came in for Rob Nemeth as he rolled out and was throwing against his body. But his arm strength was able to get it in there. So now it's 38-31. It's 7 points and don't go anywhere. An onside kick coming up, and it's going to be one heck of a drive for the football. We saw them start the game with an onside kick. And Eric, now tell us about when you played, how many different onside kicks do you have? Because a lot of teams have 3 or 4 different ones they'll try to use.
A lot of teams have a few different variations. They'll start guys out and then motion and get the whole side loaded. Sometimes what's become popular over the last couple of years, the kicker will kick the ball 10 yards out in front of him. He'll have 2 personal protectors and he'll fall on the ball. The difference between what I'm guessing this onside kick and the last onside kick, I think Central Florida is going to have their hands team in.
They'll know this one's coming.
I think they know this one's coming. Last time was the element of surprise, but still, even though they know it's coming, they have to still cover the football. And you can count on Bowling Green bringing some guys down there trying to get on top of that football.
Real quick, we're going to update you on a score. A minute left at Eastern Michigan, and Marshall is taking the lead, 26-23. A field goal there, so Marshall leads by 3 with a minute left. And what Central Florida does is they bring their, what we call the hands team in. As you see a lot of single digits and wide receiver numbers up there. All the receivers and DBs come into the game. You know it's an onside kick, so you get 9 of them right up there within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage.
And you know what BG is going to do right here? A lot of times, every guy has a role what he has to do right here. One guy's assigned to the ball, and a couple guys down here have to go take some guys out with some blocks. So I'm curious how Bowling Green runs this particular onside kick.
So here it goes. You hope to get the big bounce, and they never got it. It stayed on the ground, but the ball's still live.
Looks like Charles Lee may have fell on the ball.
And it came right to Charles Lee as you try to get that big bounce. You kick it right on the ground, and you hope the tip hits and knocks up high. It never did, and Charles Lee was able to down it right there. Let's watch it again.
Lee, coming into this game, wasn't on Coach Kruzik's good list. Yeah. I think he leaves in a lot better shape after his good performance today.
Now, Eric, you expect after the second or third hop that it's going to hop up. It just never did.
Typically it does. Generally that happens on turf a lot. Grass, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes the ball just die and stay low. Unfortunately, if you're Bowling Green right there, you couldn't get any height and even get an opportunity at it.
A minute 5 left in the game, and Central Florida leads 38-31.
And I look for Central Florida to take a couple knees or just hand it off and keep it nice and safe holding that football.
1 timeout left for Bowling Green, and Culpepper turns and gives to Howard. He busts it off the left side, gains 1 to the 45-yard line again. He's running behind Gillis, Haynes, Laurenti out there. And once again, we told you about Ryan Gillis, the senior, coming back 6th year after the cancer surgery. They took a tumor the size of a baseball out of his shoulder. Great story there. Ryan Gillis, Frank Haynes, Marcus Jenkins, and Cornell Green, the huge offensive line for Central Florida. They averaged 6'5", 309 pounds. Wow.
Big men.
It'd be nice to play behind that, wouldn't it?
It's very nice.
Flat out the sun.
That's right. If anything, they're going to keep the big bodies away from you.
Inside 30 seconds now. Again, it's 38-31. Culpepper turns and, wow, hit in the backfield, but Amari Howard was able to get the handoff. And I'll tell you what, that was dangerous right there. And now inside of 19 seconds in the game, and Bowling Green calls timeout with 19 seconds left, and again, Central Florida leads by 7. So one more snap of the football, and that should do it. You're watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net. We'll be back after this. We're back at Perry Stadium, 38-31. Central Florida leads Bowling Green, just 19 seconds left. And what Central Florida does here, they put one of their fastest players, Tyson Hinshaw, back at safety. And Culpepper will just take a knee after he takes the snap, and this will be over. But jumping offside is Bowling Green. You hope to just scare the guy or something, and he has a bad snap, but not going to happen.
Try anything at this point.
By the way, in case you missed it, our Gatorade player of the game was Daunte Culpepper, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. So another good game.
Offsides defense, contact, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Keeps rolling right along, doesn't he? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the Heisman race. Of course, Tim Couch yet to beat a big opponent. They play Florida today, still have LSU, Tennessee, Georgia to play. And this team here with Daunte Culpepper still has some of the big boys left on their schedule as well. But Culpepper, the player of the game today by Gatorade.
Still a very legitimate contender for that Heisman Trophy.
Yes, he is.
No one's really stepped forward yet this year to assume that role.
Again, he had 9 touchdowns coming in, so now with 4 today, puts him up to 13 touchdowns on the season for Daunte Culpepper. And then you see Gary Blackney, a great performance by his team. But they end up the preseason schedule, if you want to call it that, before the MAC starts at 0-3. 38-31, Central Florida gets by Bowling Green Falcons here. And another strong performance in the first half by Bowling Green, but the defense of Central Florida, the difference in the second half.
I think Central Florida showed their class there in the second half, offensively and defensively. They turned it up a notch. And Bowling Green, if anything, coming out of this game, have to be very pleased. I think they found some playmakers, some guys who they didn't expect step up. Going into this conference schedule, they have a very tough road ahead, but I think now at least they have some guys they can lean on. They found some playmakers today.
And for his first start, Ricky Schneider played very well through 3 quarters, and then, of course, at the end, Rob Nemeth came in and rolled him into the end zone on that last scoring drive, throwing the touchdown pass, but you might have made a good find in Schneider.
I think Ricky Schneider did a very good job. Credit the offensive staff. They put him in very good positions to have success. Didn't ask a lot of Ricky Schneider, but he made very smart plays, very consistent, kept the ball moving. I think Gary Blackney's going to have a tough decision next week. Does he start Schneider again? Bob Nemeth came off the bench, did very good, but look for Schneider, I'm guessing, to get a start because he played very well in his first college start today.
So Daunte Culpepper does nothing today to hurt his chances at the Heisman Trophy. Again, 320 yards and 4 touchdowns, gives him 13 on the year. Still has some tough time ahead of him as he's got to face Auburn and some others. And again, 3:30 today, Kentucky plays Florida, so Tim Couch has a huge game in front of him. At UCLA, Cade McNown still has to go up against USC and some of the other big ones out west. So I think this is a race this year where the Heisman Trophy is going to come right down to the end, and it's anybody's ball game at this point in the year.
I think if Daunte Culpepper can keep leading this team like this, keep having stats like this, and possibly get his team into a bowl game, which is all along is the reason Daunte came back anyways this senior year, take his team to a bowl game and win it, I think he'll get some serious consideration for Heisman Trophy.
A great story for number 8. He plays the cello and violin as well as a
How much more
pretty darn good
can
quarterback.
you be?
That's right. So for Eric White, I'm Jeff Pecoro saying so long from Deutsch Perry Stadium, where the final score 38-31. You've been watching Mid-America Conference football on Fox Sports Net.